What do you got?
I think I can prove to a judge that both of these men had the mens rea.
What the hell is a mens rea?
It's a legal term the lawyers use. It just means the intention to commit a crime.
Okay, come on, let's go.
Mens rea?
Put the cuffs on him.
How could we have gotten mens rea? We take blood? Can you do it without taking blood? We both use condoms. How is this possible? I want to see a doctor. Can I have an independent blood test?
Hey, money!
I feel sick.
What are you doing?
Mens rea! Oh! Oh! My God!
Hey, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you? Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whoever you're doing it with, however good it feels, how many times you plan on doing it again, and why ever you're doing it, none of my business, but I'm glad you're doing it here. Thankfully, it's Monday. Mellie is back on the menu, boys and girls. We are here. We're going to pick up day 12, the morning session, and plow through that today. Unfortunately, it is live, and we do not have the option of fast forwarding or doing it at 1.25 speed. It will be real speed, real time. Well, that's where we are, and that's how we're starting. And as you can tell, I'm very well prepared for this because, you know, what self-respecting lawyer doesn't wear a distillery hat and a Godzilla shirt? I'm just watching Strawberry back here on the bed. What's up, Straubs? I got them a new bed. I'm trying to see if new little bed over here in the corner for when Doggo Cam gets turned on when we reach the achievement goal, but trying to see if they're going to respect it as a bed or do what they normally do and just pee all over it and ruin it. Well, it has yet to be determined. So we'll see how it goes. But first, before we do anything else, we need to do today's cocktail. And I've been sitting here for a minute, so I've got a little bit of ice melt in here, but so it's going to be a little bit diluted, but yeah, whatever. Today's cocktail is the South Side. It's a great little cocktail. It's a great summer cocktail. It's very, very citrusy, very, very, it's like sharp and crisp, minty fresh. It's great. So, okay, today's cocktail is the South Side. How do you make a South Side? You take 2 ounces of gin. Let's grab the 2 ounces of gin. I really hate these restraining pours on these glasses. I know exactly how fast I want to pour my alcohol, and don't ruin it for me, please. There, now I've got my booze. Jeez. All right, and then you're going to want to add 15 milliliters of simple syrup. So half an ounce of simple syrup. It's already in there. And then you're going to want to add 1 ounce or 30 milliliters of fresh squeezed lemon juice. Add that in there. And then you're just going to add 5 or 6 mint leaves, or if you're like me and you like mint, just add like a whole bunch. Give it a little spank to bruise it. That's what you want, bruising. You want to leave a little bit of mark on it. And then you put it in your shaker and you give it a good shake. Shake that all up. Get it nice and chilled. And then you just pour it off into your cocktail glass. Oh, and there you have today's cocktail, the minty, citrusy South Side. Cheers. Ah, divine. Oh my God, that's so good. Could drink those all day. Whew. Love that. Okay. Yum. That mint. I love mint. Anything. As a matter of fact, because we're having this minty fresh cocktail, tonight's pipe tobacco will be Sutliff's Frosty Mint Tobacco. I'm in a minty mood tonight. Well, all righty then, folks. Let me check up here with Law and Cuck and see if they've started the trial yet today. Nope. They're showing a robbery gone wrong at a nail salon when no one complies with the suspect. All right, I'm game. Let's just bring this up for a minute and see what's happening, and no one gives a crap about the robber video.
Where's the money?
Security video shows what happened on July 2nd in Atlanta, Georgia, when a suspect walked into the Nail First salon. The man calls for everyone to get down and hand over all their money.
Everybody get down! Give me all your money! It's got the boxes! Give me all your money!
But instead of giving up their valuables, customers and employees don't react at all. The salon's owner even answers a phone call rather than interact with the suspect.
Yeah! Where's the money?
Guys, just chilling on
One
the
woman
phone.
does react, though. Video shows her stand up and put her hands out. The suspect then snatches up her cell phone.
Give me the money! Where's the money? Everybody give me everything!
As the woman steps outside, the suspect
cares about the
screams
guy.
for the others to hand over their money.
That's funny. All right. Well, we are back in court. Right. That was interesting. Let's make this a little bit smaller here, and we'll just kind of keep it here while we wait for everybody to come back. Or better yet, let's do that. No, that's kind of stupid. We'll do this. Nope. Whatever. We're just messing around here, having fun. How about that? Yeah, I guess I'll just kind of sit a little bit over here. There we go. People are talking about Captain Corey passing last night. It's not something to talk about on a murder trial. It's not something to do shots where I do things a little differently in my head. I process things a little differently. I posted something on Twitter. That's kind of all that really I'm ready to say about it. So yeah, good little kid. If you go to my Twitter page, you'll see a link there, and go to watch the statement from his mother. There's nothing really to add to that. Guys, if you want to post mods, if you want to post his mother's link, his mother's Twitter link in the chat, please do that, and people can go there and see what she said, what their plans are and things. But I've got nothing to add to what they're going through, and I process things a little differently. And I don't know, it seems kind of disrespectful to mention one in the middle of a murder trial and to take shots for a little kid. It's kind of weird. But that's just me. But the respect is there. And go to the mom's Twitter and leave a kind comment if you want. All right. Well, so what we're doing here, we're about a minute behind, 30 seconds behind. We are on day 12 morning of this. I guess we're in court because the camera is now showing us ye olde eagle, and the yellow fringe flag. It's a maritime flag. It's not lawful law. Wow, there's really nothing to catch up on. I'm feeling antsy today, aren't I? I'm like moving around more than usual. I just need to sit here. Let's move the microphone down out of the way. All right, deep breaths. Okay. I'm just kind of feeling antsy. Maybe I'm just excited to get back to this thrilling, riveting trial. Day 11, was literally a complete waste. Except for the brief moment, I believe it was day 11, that the mother of the victim, not Sack Chaser, the other one, Juvie, YNW Juvie, testified. She did not do the defendant any favors. Yes, that's him getting into the rear passenger seat of the van. Yes, that's my dead boy who was sitting there on the passenger side of the van. Did I say rear driver's passenger side? He said that's Mellie getting into the rear driver's side seat, and that's my dead son who was shot from the general direction of the rear driver's side seat. My son was sitting in the passenger side. So they fingered him as the perpetrator. She identified her son as one of the dead people. They got in the van. It's not looking good for Mr. Mellie here. And then we went through just about 8 hours of pictures, hundreds of pictures, 1 second videos from his cell phone, stupid pictures where like every one of them is the same thing. He's wearing something stupid. His hair is done in a ridiculous way. And he's going to show off his stupid grill. So that's what we did. And we eventually just ended up fast forwarding at 2.0 speed through the picture presentation, through the slideshow presentation, and just talking about whatever as we went through. Yeah, it's not looking good for Mr. Melly, and we still have a long way to go. The judge said he was hoping this would be done by the end of July. I don't see it being done by the end of July. We still have so much to go through. More crime scene analysis. We haven't heard from the medical examiner. We haven't heard from anybody on the defense side, and I'm sure they're going to be calling their own medical examiners. They're going to be calling their own ballistics expert. They're going to be calling probably a wide array of other expert witnesses to testify. And we haven't heard from probably Mr. Bortland. Mr. Bortland is, I think he's going to roll. I think he's going to testify. I think he's going to put his homie behind bars. Daily Quick Buy says, I have a question. From the evidence, how much time passed between leaving the studio with the video showing people boarding the VC and the estimated time of the killings? That's a good question. I'm not exactly sure of the answer. If someone else caught that, I didn't, but the passage of time from the leaving the studio to arriving at the hospital was about an hour and a half, if I recall correctly. I don't know if there actually has been any testimony about how long of a time between leaving the studio and the murders, but which is a problem. I mean, it's not a problem because you can go back and say, okay, because one of the parts that the prosecution has made is that Mellie's cell phone, or the cell phone that he's primarily used, although it's registered to someone else, was with one of the deceased person's cell phones until about 15 minutes before they arrived at the hospital. So we can extrapolate that the murders happened between they didn't happen in that 15-minute gap between when he got out and they got to the hospital. That's what the prosecution wants us to understand, I guess. So yeah, no direct answer. We just have to sort of infer from how long they were together, and the travel patterns of the phone. But bigger than that is going to be his buddy. Sack Chaser and Juvie are dead. Yeah, it's Bortland and Mellie that are alive. And they're both charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Now, as I've been saying from the beginning, I believe that Bortland is going to testify because he's out on bail. You do not get charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder and they just let you out on bail without a damn good reason. And more importantly, his bail for getting out of jail on 2 charges of first-degree murder was $90,000. He got out of jail with a bond of $90,000 for committing 2 first-degree murders. He's cut a deal of some sort. And over the weekend, it was either last Friday, there was a hearing on Bortland's case, which is weird to have a hearing on that case in the middle of this case. But they had a hearing, and they are still scheduled to go ahead with his trial on October 3rd. I think they're going to have a pre-trial conference sometime in August. But yeah, he posted a $90,000 bail and got out of jail quite a while ago. And what we should do, well, there's a couple of things going on. First of all, I mean, at Bortland's hearing, they were arguing that his tether restrictions. He has a tether on his foot, of course. They are arguing that his defense team is arguing that it needs to be relaxed because he wants to go get a job. If you have any concern that you're going to jail for the rest of your life, getting a job probably isn't top on your list. So it seems to me that he's pretty comfortable he's not going to jail because he's looking for employment. He's seeking relaxation on his tether. He wants to travel the entire Western United States because being a rapper, he's got concerts to do and stuff like that. Yeah, if I was a betting man, I would bet some good money and that Bortland flipped, and he's going to testify. Which kind of makes me wonder. I mean, I think Mellie would be an absolute idiot if he took the stand. It would be absolutely dumb of him to insist on taking the stand, because all of those text messages are going to look really, really bad when they march through. And here you are talking about your Glock 40 before the murders. Then a couple of days after the murder, you ask your mother to buy you another Glock 40. And it has to be a Glock 40, he said. But yet they can't find the murder weapon. They're going to ask him about all these text messages back and forth, all of his gang stuff. It would be a massacre if he were to take the stand. But on the other hand, I think it's the prosecution's game to lose right now. They were doing very, very poorly the first 8 or 9 days. But then the investigator guy and what's her face? Juvie's mom. They flipped the script. They turned they did all the cliche things to where now the prosecution definitely has the upper hand, I believe. So what's he got to lose by taking the stand if he thinks they're going to lose it? About the only thing he can do is point the finger at Juvie. Did I say it was a 40 caliber? If I did, I misspoke. Just Glock 40. Did I say 40 caliber? My brain did not process me saying caliber if I said that. Interesting. I like when your brain does that. It says things that you don't mean to say and you don't remember it doing it, if that's what happened. Yes, there was also the motion hearing. There was a motion hearing on Friday where they had 3 motions, and I'm debating whether or not to do the motion trial tomorrow, because it's about an hour and 50 minutes long. Yeah, see, Bobby Baloney didn't hear caliber, and it's happening with Harper, didn't hear caliber, so I don't think I said caliber. So I think you're the one that's hearing things there. I don't recall ever saying it was a 40 caliber. Anywho, there was the motion to take the jury on a field trip to see the vehicle. The judge said no. There was another one the defense won, and then there was one the prosecution won. And they are just completely slipping my mind right now. Dang. Oh, you know what? Apparently the video is not playing. Jeez. Huh. Well, good. Good we caught that, but nothing's happening in court. The video wasn't playing, and we literally missed nothing. Cool.
Hey, what's up, Strawberry?
All righty. Let's see. Flux has sent us a super chat. But first, late and Melly sexual. Thank you, Unhung Hero, for the $2 kicking us off with the day 12, Monday after the holiday YNW Melly trial. First super chat of the day. And Flux dropping the $5 M Mocha Dick Poon XOXO fully adjustable blow for freedom. What does shit mean? Moo ha ha ha. And as always, pants are prison. Hi, not a Leo July baby. Well, hi, Flux. How are you? Good to see you here. All right. Well, why am I a boomer? What have I boomered? All right, that's shh. All right, I guess they've given up on it too, so I will pull this video down here. We'll just keep it locked and loaded and ready to go. Larry Nazar got stabbed over the weekend. Oh, what a shame that is. Isn't that just a crying shame? Let's I'm stumped. Chandler, we do not have a Chandler Remington sighting yet. Right. Well, so Bobby Blunt didn't hear Caliber. See, that's the thing. When you say that I said things I didn't say, if you're just messing around and trying to be funny, it derails the chat because I have to stop and address it if I see it, to either correct something I said was wrong or to challenge someone who said something that I said something, because even if it's joking, because it gets out there, and I have to address it, and then the person that did it thought it was funny, but then everybody else gets pissed for wasting all the time. So that's just kind of what happens when you try to play games with the host. You gotta address things. Let's see. I want to undress it, but gotta address it. Let's see here. Well, I guess while we're waiting for something to happen. Oh wait, something's happening. Oh, I was going to say, while we're waiting to happen, something happen. Let's bring up the.
Or you want to do it after the first one? It's going to be fairly short.
Tell me what the issue is now.
So this stayed on Friday afternoon after Mr. Glass's deposition, filed his second motion in the meeting. Does Your Honor have a copy of that?
I have a motion in the meeting filed by the state. I don't know which one we're talking about. I've read it. It's
I emailed it to Your Honor's JJ on Friday.
We have no subtitles for some reason.
That's what we're requiring. So there are three motion limits. The first one is regarding the defendant's essentially self-serving hearsay statements during the deposition of Mr. Glass. Counsel asked Mr. Glass whether or not the defendant had ever admitted fault, essentially in the incident. So that would be a self-serving statement that the state would seek to exclude.
Huh. Well, now you all can call me a boomer. Bobby Baloney, now is your chance. Now is your chance. Go for it, buddy. Now is your chance. All right, there you go. Free for all. Get it all out of your systems, everybody. Let me have it, because then we'll bring up the video. Right, let's see here. Right. There you go. Come on. Let's go. Come on. Bring it up. Bring it on. Boomer. Okay, there we go. Here we go. Boom.
In addition to any other self-serving statement. According to Edward versus State, any other testimony that would affect his ability to recall events. And those are the state's three motion limits.
well, it's one motion eliminated, but 3 paragraphs.
Yes, 3 paragraphs, yes.
Thank you. That's what you're doing.
Morning, Your Honor. As to, I'm trying to recall, as to the issue of drug use, I'm not thinking that it's our intention to date his drug use back to birth. However, we know that one of the lasting and long-term effects of chronic marijuana usage
that would be chronic use, right?
Chronic one's mental. So the fact that I think when he was asked, do you smoke marijuana? His answer was yes. And how often? The answer was whenever I can. I'm not sure that we should be limited to the day in question, because the impact of such chronic use, whenever he can get his hands on it, impacts his ability to recall matters.
He uses so much weed that he forgets things. Nice.
Prior bad acts. There are 2 felonies which are clearly our impeachment. And beyond that, however, he was charged. This is a witness who made himself deliberately unavailable to the parties for years. He then gets charged in May of this year with a crime, and now and then watches the proceedings on television and has suddenly made himself available.
Oh.
That goes to bias, his intent.
I don't think the state was suggesting that you couldn't ask questions about the whatever current charge he has. Are you suggesting that?
No, Judge, I didn't address that, because he can ask about the charges, about the maximum, minimum penalties, and I would agree that he could ask whether or not he's been heard in favor in exchange for his testimony.
Who is this witness we are
But it got to the current charge.
Correct.
And well, the state's position is you can't impeach him with anything
It's
beyond the
YNW
current
Munch.
charges and his felonies. We agree. I can't remember what the first point was.
So,
Yeah, YNW Munch.
self-serving hearsay statements of your client.
First of all, it's not a statement. A statement are utterances. The question that was put to the witness was whether or not Mr. Demons ever admitted involvement in the activity.
Oh, no.
The answer is no.
Okay.
There was a time during which the witness indicates that he was inquiring of various people what may have happened. And him saying that Mr. Demons never admitted involvement in the offense is not him uttering a hearsay statement. It's him denying the existence of any statement, hearsay or otherwise. So I don't think there's a hearsay exclusion to the failure
Is there a
to admit
hairspray exclusion?
involvement in an offense. So I don't think that that question ought to be included if in fact we decide to put it to the witness.
Thank you. Well, regarding the first issue about the witness's alleged testimony that the defendant, Mr. Demons, didn't admit to him that he was involved in it. That's not something the witness observed or anything. That's in essence an exculpatory statement. I agree with the state. You can't do that. I agree regarding the prior bad acts and impeachment. We're all on the same page. You can ask about whatever the pending charge is. You can talk about that in prior two felonies. But as to other uncharged offenses that may happen along the way, those are not, can't inquire as to those. As far as the drug use, if he's using marijuana, cannabis at the time, that's all fair game. I don't see any issue with that. And if he uses it frequently, I don't see any issue with that either. I don't know that that's the type of, it may have been at one time the type of drug use that was concerned, but
Dang it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Let me have it again.
I think all that's fair game. I don't have any issue. And I understand Edwards talks about when you're under the influence of something, but if it's over a period of time, I've heard from various experts how long it stays consistent, how long you can do it. So it can be for a period of time.
Okay, and just to clarify, I'm just relating period of time meaning from the date of incident to current date, or even predating the date of incident?
Counsel, to me, it's fair game. They can go into it.
Okay, I just wanted to
I don't have
clarify.
an issue with it. All right.
And Judge, the defense did file a motion to exclude Travian Glass from testifying at all. I don't know if they want to, or Your Honor wants to address it at this time.
We can address it at this time.
Sure, go ahead.
Did you have a chance to read my motion and the case law this morning?
I did.
All right.
Thank you.
So it's basic, as I stated in my motion. After 4 years, we're finally able to depose Mr. Travian Glass. Interesting enough, as I set forth in my motion,
After 4
and I
years.
attached the pages of his transcript, he states that it wasn't until he started watching YouTube, because this case was live streaming, and hearing his name repeated everywhere, that he decided to call up the prosecution. As I further stated in the deposition, specifically questions were asked about his independent recollection of this incident, and he clearly states, let me go to it. I wasn't aware who got into what seat that day, but from me watching what's going on, yeah, I know now. Yeah.
Well, of course you know now because you watched it.
Watching what's going on, do you mean the trial proceedings? He said, correct. Looking at this rule of sequestration, and we know it here as the rule.
I don't know what seat he got into, but now that I watched it on TV, now I know. So
and going back into them, it's been well established that we need these protections of this rule of sequestration to prevent witnesses tailoring their testimony to match the testimony of the previous witnesses. And that's exactly what we have here. 2023, in the Bible, they didn't have a TV live streaming into the courtroom. Yeah. So most of our rules, when we were dealing with it, are saying, you cannot sit in this gallery and then come up on the stand and testify.
We need someone to put like, you know,
but if he's sitting there watching from that TV, from the comfort of his home, there is no difference from him sitting here in this gallery and then getting up there and testifying. That is the crux of this rule, and that is exactly what it is meant to prevent.
Well,
Sequestration of witnesses is one of the oldest and most time-honored rules in the court system. It's to ensure that we have effective truth-seeking. And we won't have effective truth-seeking if he's allowed to sit here, watch everybody testify, and get up there and then tailor his testimony to the last 3 weeks of evidence and other witnesses who have testified.
Ludo's making some good
provided the case law. I think the law is clear. Reading into that case law, because this rule of sequestration, we do have a sister rule in the federal court system, 615. And they've actually gone on a little bit further with their cases to give us examples of out of courtroom communications that are not allowed. And they give us examples of witnesses sitting outside of the courtroom talking about what they testified with another witness who's going to testify. They talk about giving witnesses the transcripts of other witnesses and preventing them from testifying.
Yeah, that's a
In
bad
this
thing.
case, again, he watched the entire trial. We don't even have to guess about this because he tells us in his own deposition that he's been watching this trial.
He's making very good points.
He's heard his name
He's just weird.
in this trial, and that's why he's decided after 4 years to come and testify. He must be excluded to guarantee my client a right to fair trial.
Thank you.
Can't argue.
What's this state?
Can't argue. This is good.
And exclusion of a witness is the harshest sanction that this court can impose. The state acknowledges there was a violation of the rule of sequestration. The witness indicates.
If there's been a violation of the rule of sequestration,
however, counsel's representation that he watched the entire trial is wholly inaccurate. That's not what his testimony was. So the court must determine whether or not it was an intentional violation, whether it was inadvertent, or whether it was any bad faith on part of the witness or the state here in particular. The state would proffer that it was an inadvertent violation. It was unintentional on part of the state. As your honors know, where it's been documented that Mr. Glass has not been cooperative with the state. We tried to subpoena him pre-trial. In fact, the first time the state spoke with Mr. Glass was after his current arrest, which I believe was in June of 2023. After the state had contacted the witness for the first time and was able to speak with him after we had already began trial testimony. The witness indicated to me that he would not be here, he would not come, and he would not cooperate with the state's subpoena. He did corroborate that in his deposition, that he did in fact inform me of that information. And therefore the state operated as he was not going to testify. It was not until the defense subpoenaed the witness that he became compliant and came in on Friday. I think the first time he came to Broward County and the state met with him was on Thursday of last week, which I believe was July 6th. So the first time the state would actually had an opportunity to even speak with the witness in person and inform him of the repercussions of the rule of sequestration was well after testimony had begun already. And the prejudice that the defense has cited in their motion is essentially that he's watched the video surveillance, which is currently in evidence in state 7, and has changed his testimony based on his review of the video surveillance. So two things, he did give a statement to Detective Moretti back on February
he violated
26th, 2019, and he indicated that he got into the back
stuff
seat
he
of the
watched while he was
He's
violating.
now been refreshed, and his memory is now refreshed that he did in fact get into the front seat and not the back passenger seat of that red Mitsubishi. The state would proffer that that prejudice is minimal, and the reason is because we have video surveillance. And so Mr. Glass, in and of himself, can be impeached based on his prior testimony saying he got into the back seat versus the front seat. And that's the only prejudice that the defense has outlined in his deposition testimony that has been colored by his view of any of the trial testimony. And so based on that information, one moment, Judge. The state would say that rule of sequestration for this court to exclude him completely as a witness would not serve its purpose. It's not a per se rule to exclude. The trial court has discretion, and I would ask you to exercise your discretion.
My microphone is lower than the court.
Being one of him being impeached based on the inconsistency itself.
You have the transcript of this witness?
I ordered a copy and we did not receive one. You have the transcript, Judge. If counsel can be so kind as to also provide us with a copy, we haven't received our copy.
Any problem with that?
No, I can email it right now.
All right, so could you give a copy of that to Travis?
Yes.
And what I'll do is I'll make it, well, I don't know if I'm allowed to make copies.
I can email to Ingrid, and then I can email to them. They have their copy machine right there. I do have one quick follow-up, Judge, if I may.
Sure.
So there is a line of
I
cases,
pulled the court
and
volume
counsel
down a
is
little bit. Let's
arguing
see how it
from the
sounds
line
now.
of cases where the defense has violated the rule of sequestration. So when it's a defendant violating the rule of sequestration, you do have to go into a Sixth Amendment analysis because it's his constitutional rights that the court still has to protect. And that's why you have that stringent standard. However, when you're dealing with the prosecution violating the rule of sequestration, then it becomes the question of my client's rights to a fair trial. And that's how the analysis should go. And you're looking at those line of questions. When you go to 96.16, there is another section that comes down that gives exceptions to the rule of sequestration, which we see. We have the witness's family in here. Why are they allowed in here? Because of 96.16 gives that exception.
You get him,
There's
Ludo.
case law that says when that family gets up there to testify, Mr. Demon's client rights to a fair trial will trump the other people's rights in this case. In this matter, Mr. Glass doesn't have any rights to be in this courtroom. He has no right to be watching this from TV. His testimony to the evidence. I would ask that we look at this in the light most favorable to Mr. Demons and his constitutional right to a fair trial. And that's what we want today. And it's not going to happen with a witness who's been watching this proceeding from the comfort of his home.
But the defense isn't suggesting that this was all some type of connivance with the state, that they planned this or executed in some fashion to get around the rule of sequestration.
I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters.
You're not suggesting that. You're suggesting that you shouldn't be allowed to testify because it's a violation of the rule.
Rules are rules.
The state's agreeing it's a violation because the rule of sequestration was invoked. But you're not alleging or suggesting the state had anything to do with it, are you?
So, Judge, and I did ponder this last night, and for the sake of being a professional, I did not come with a motion for prosecutorial misconduct. But as we've heard Ms. Smith admit herself that she sat in that deposition with us, and they too realized that he had been watching the trial from his own testimony. The simple fact that the state now wants to even put him on the stand is knowingly, Judge. They knew in the deposition, 1. 2, they knew when I put him on notice with my motion. So they had the opportunity after the deposition to, after my motion pointing out we violated the rule of sequestration, just not to call them. They, however, are going to continue
this dude should not come in,
knowing he has violated the rule and put him on the stand. So yes, when you look at it that way, the state may be acting inappropriately.
Thank you. And counsel, from your perspective, as far as the state's concerned, once you found out this witness was going to, his location was found and you gave his address over, and I know you said he wasn't going to cooperate. I think he made that representation over court a week or so ago as well. I don't know the exact date, but you made a representation to that effect.
Mellie's just looking like
the first time that you advised the witness that the rule of sequestration was invoked.
Judge, last Thursday, because prior to that, I'd only spoken to him on the phone, and he had told me, we essentially had abandoned almost calling him as a witness absent a decision to do a rule to show cause, which we had not decided at that point. So.
if you still had any inclination, you should have told him at the beginning that it was in
effect. So he contacted our office, and that was in response to the deposition. And counsel's essentially.
What date was that?
I can have counsel look up the exact date to let you know, because we have an email when we contacted our office.
That's the time that you told him the rule was invoked?
No. He called our office indicating that he had gotten a subpoena and whether or not he needed to appear, which we indicated, yes, he did need to comply with the subpoena. We tried to make arrangements for him to come. I believe his deposition was scheduled on a Tuesday, if I'm not mistaken.
No, that was the deposition that was set, if you recall, without any discussion or scheduling with the state for that Friday.
So it was set on a particular date and he failed to appear that day. And then I called him when he failed to appear while defense was still in state attorney's office in the lobby. I said, are you in Broward County right now? He said, no, I'm not. I don't have a ride. I said, okay, if transportation is arranged, can you make yourself available? He said he would. He called us, he told us he would be in Broward County, I think Thursday afternoon. He called us on Thursday, said he was in Broward County, and that was the first time we met with him in person. And I would say, Judge, the defense is asking you to essentially apply a per se rule. The case law says there's no per se exclusion for the rule of sequestration. The only thing she's saying that's been affected is his seat position in the Mitsubishi car.
It's a passenger in the other car.
It's on video, it's in state 7. And so that's something that the state could even show the witness in preparation for his testimony. It's something we would publish during his testimony. So that contradiction between where he sat in the car is not of the sort that should exclude his entire testimony and color his testimony.
Thank you. My question.
Yeah, now answer the damn question.
The witness.
Thursday, Judge, when we met with him in person.
Thursday.
Yes, Judge, when we met with him in person. For the
You had 4 years to tell him not to watch the trial.
For ruling on it, just I'd like to read the transcript.
So, Your Honor, I think the case law is also clear that you need to read his initial statement to see if there's been any change in his statement from the initial.
Would you admit there has been?
And I'm going to provide, if I can approach Your Honor.
Where's the case law? I would like to have any case law.
I'm provided with this statement,
I
so I
have-
can provide it to the judge.
I have the statement, I want to see the case law you're quoting to, because we're talking about excluding him. I didn't see any case law. It says
I don't think they
substantial.
cited it in the case law counsel, they just cited the rule. But let's do this though, I'm not done with this yet. I want to read what he said, as well as the statement. I want to take a look at those things.
May I approach, Your Honor?
Sure.
And so the
You can
case,
take witness, by the way.
Girl fight.
It's Danny Benitez, he's a record custodian, so we anticipate it's gonna take about 5 minutes, which is why we.
Where's your next witness after that?
Mr. Glass.
Where's this Detective Moretti?
He's also
He's
gonna
not
be
here,
in this
right?
afternoon.
Oh, Detective Moretti?
and Judge, I'm going to print out the copy of the case law that the state was saying to, which I'll print out a copy for counsel and for Your Honor.
She's got notes on it. I don't
Shut
want
up,
that.
Adriana.
Your notes on it. I'm not-
So I'll take the, it's just the
I'm
last.
sorry, can you just email it?
I'll do it right now, Judge.
Thank you. She'll print it out. I would like to read it. And we'll just have it marked as a court exhibit for the purpose of this, so.
State's otherwise ready, Your Honor, to proceed with the first. Dan Benitez.
Well, they admitted his story changed. She said he originally said he didn't remember where Mellie was sitting in the car and whatnot. And now, after he's watched all the testimony, he remembers, oh yeah, he was in the back driver's side.
There is sexually explicit photos.
Uncivil
of minors
occurring in the
videos on there,
house.
So that the clerk needs to be made aware of that on the 98th. Section 9807. Mr. Demon's comment, Mr. Denton's comment.
Any objection?
No objections.
All right, go ahead and sign. I'll sign it, thank you. All right, putting it, you all set, ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's bring the jury.
All right. So we're about 8 minutes behind somehow, so we'll skip ahead here.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Please be seated and let the record once again reflect the presence of the defendant, Mr. Devon, his counsel, the assistant state attorneys.
Can't wait to hear how the judge decides that issue. That guy should be coming on.
We're back on, so I think the state is still on its case in chief. Can we call your next witness, please?
Yes, Your Honor. The state calls Danny Benitez.
Danny Benitez. Who is Danny Benitez? Got the dog sawing some logs over here. Witness. Danny Benitez. Hope I spelled that right. We'll find out in a minute.
Are you Danny Benitez? Yes, I am, sir. Well, this is our witness stand. Can you come up here, please? When you get there, remain standing for a bit. Raise your right hand and be sworn.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you should give in this case shall be the truth?
Why is Dennis Hopper not wearing a tie in court?
I do. Please state your full legal name for the record.
Daniel Benitez.
Please spell your first and last name for the court.
Daniel Benitez.
Thank you, sir.
Please have a seat.
Thank you.
All right. Who is he and what does he do?
The microphone in front of you will adjust up or down, but it doesn't move back and forth, all right?
Okay,
Ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
Perfect. Counsel, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Mr. Benitez.
Good morning.
Can you tell the members of the jury where you're currently employed?
Sure. I'm employed at Montessori Academy in Broward in Pembroke Pines, Florida.
And have you been employed with the Montessori school in one capacity or another since October?
What in the hell would he be
2018?
testifying about?
My wife and I started the school in 2002, and up until today, we're still involved in the school as director of the school. I'm the operations director of the
Okay.
school.
And back on October 26th of 2018, were you you and your wife, the owner and operators of that school?
Yes, we were.
Okay. And the Montessori school, where's the specific address?
The address is 19200 Pines Boulevard, Pembroke Pines.
And you mentioned that's in the city of Miramar, correct?
Yes, I have.
So at some point in time, you provided video surveillance from your school to law enforcement, either 2018 or early 2019.
Yes, I have.
And how long is the system, how long does the video maintain until the system overrides naturally?
The system actually maintains a backup for 90 days and then overrides itself with all this of the events being erased.
Okay. So in order to preserve video surveillance, you would have had to capture it and preserve it within that 90-day window, correct?
Correct.
All right. And you've had an opportunity to review the video surveillance that was provided to law enforcement and then placed on a USB?
Correct.
Your Honor, at this time, we're showing the counsel was pre-marked as states quadruple H, so HH. May I approach the witness?
You may.
What on earth could a Montessori school owner have to do?
Yes, it is.
And how are you able to recognize this particular USB?
Well, it has my initials on the back.
Okay, and did you sign an initial it after reviewing the video surveillance?
Yes, I have.
Is that video surveillance?
Okay, video
an accurate
surveillance.
representation of the video surveillance that was captured back on October 26th of 2018 from the Montessori School's video surveillance system?
Yes, it is.
And that video surveillance was maintained and kept by Montessori School until it was turned over to law enforcement?
Correct.
And it sounds like Joe Pesci.
You maintain that system. In fact, you still have a system to this day.
Correct.
Your Honor, at this time, the state will convince evidence what was pre-marked as state's quadruple H. Is the next number that you I believe 82.
And we're going to object, Your Honor. We're double checking all of the
Proceeding objections.
Excuse me, just come side one.
Sidebar across the USA. Right, we can skip through the sidebar here. All right. Well, and while that's going on, let's catch up on the super chats that have come in so far. Flux, Ludo is mad. Ludo is mad, but Ludo make good points. Ludo mad. Anyway, but yeah, she is making very good points. Thank you so much for that. And let's go, Brandon. Where is the doggo donation / badge? We put that up because I saw your message, and we are still ages and ages away from doggo cam. Well, now we're one step closer.
Lawyers do not discuss the case on Form A.
Oh, my Lord.
Case to allow anyone to discuss the case in the presence.
Now it's an outside the presence of the jury thing. All right. While the jury's filing out, let's finish this up. Also, I don't know if 2 ounces of gin with a splash of lemon and sugar qualifies as a cocktail. Don't forget the mint. And let's go, Brandon. Don't forget who you're talking to. It's me. I double everything. This was 4 ounces of gin. Yeah, so you know who you're messing with.
Thank you.
And Timothy Schultz, I called it. Jeff, you were talking when they said there were XXX pics on the phone.
I don't know how long is this wait?
Yeah.
How long is it?
3:40 to approximately.
We know there are pictures on the phone. Pictures and surveillance video.
But just so it's clear, this was previously provided for the record to defense counsel. We just now at Sidebar learned that they have not been able to watch it, and if I was corrected, they have not told us or asked for an additional copy in any way, shape, or form.
Didn't we just take care of that sidebar? Didn't I ask them that?
Yes, but I'm making sure the record is clear on the state's part on that. In addition, for the other images and things that she discussed in videos, those were from the phone, and those were available for defense. They were in my office on Friday afternoon. As to the things I said I would email, that was the PDF of all the photos that were published in open court on Thursday afternoon. Just so it's very clear, because I know these Liberty is a little bit confused on some of those issues. I'm not confused on anything.
Thank you. So when is, I guess, my understanding is Detective Moretti your last witness?
Yes, sir.
All right, so what happens if I wasn't going to allow Mr. Glass to testify? What were we going to do for the next 2 hours, 3 hours?
State would be ready to go, Your Honor.
So Mr. Moretti's here.
Judge, with regards to the state would be ready with witnesses, yes, or videos to play.
Thank you. Your witness. Thank you.
Their last witness, like the last witness of the day, certainly can't be their last witness of the case. It can't be their last witness of the case. Wow, that was weird. All right. So, Huh. Okay. Right. Well, while that little bit of weirdness is going on, while the judge decides what to do with things.
In and of himself can be impeached.
Well, that's not what I wanted to do.
Testimony saying he got into the back seat versus the front seat, and that's the only prejudice that the defense is outlined.
We can get rid of that and turn off the volume. Let's see if we can fast forwarding here to see if we're caught up. If we're back in court yet. We are not back in court yet. All right, we are now officially. We are now officially caught back up. So we're ready to go when the going gets good. I'm kind of watching out here to see when it comes back. But as our super chats were so rudely interrupted by the court doing whatever the court does. Yep. 4 ounces of gin. We're doing good. Don't really know what we got here to talk about while we wait for the jury to come back, or the judge to come back, or somebody to do something. Yeah, the judge is pissed. He's upset that all this wasn't worked out a long time ago. One thing I can talk about is the current state of affairs. Whilst waiting for the judge to do something and the jury to come back, there are 727 concurrent viewers, only 379 likes. Half of you are not doing your job, so come on. Come on. Get down there and hit that like button. Get down there and smash that subscribe button. How are we doing on subscribers? I haven't checked, actually, in quite some time because, hey, we're just still celebrating the 50K. Right now, we are doing 53,000. 901. We've lost about 30 subscribers, but we gained several thousand, so I don't really care at this point. We're doing good. But if you haven't subscribed, I would be very, very happy and very, very grateful if you would do me the pleasure and give me the privilege of going down there and smashing that subscribe button. Subscribe to the channel while we follow these various trials. We talk about legal things here. We talk about the maritime accidents and whatnot on Mondays. Thursday, we're going to be doing O.J. Simpson flashbacks. This Friday is going to be F It Friday, where we just say F it. We have a big panel of guests on. We talk about things. And I grift for shots. That's what it is. You pay me to drink. And then with the money that you give me for drinking, I buy more drinks. And that's how it goes. So that's just the one thing we do once a month. Stephen Gosney, welcome. Steve Gosney into chat. All right. Yeah, we are just hanging here and kicking it. All right. Let's see. How are we doing here? Now we're up to 408 likes. That's good. So 300 of you haven't done your job. And come over and take our silly little like and subscribe poll. We just have our little like and subscribe poll to remind you to hit the like button. And apparently it doesn't work today. You are here and have crushed the like and subscribe button because more Mellie trial is best Mellie trial. Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in again. And I'm waiting for Bortland to testify. It's pretty even right now. 20% said you smashed like and subscribe because Mellie trial is the best trial. 24% said just when you thought you were out. And 23% said they pulled me back in again. And 32% said I'm waiting for Bortland to testify. That's how we're going. We'll check back in an hour or so. Don't know what Steve Gosney's talking about there, but hi, Steve. Good to see you here as always. Well, it's a little more complicated than that. It's just one of the guys who was a passenger in the other vehicle that left the recording studio at the same time as the murder car. He said that he doesn't remember where he was sitting, but when while he got arrested, he dodged service. He said he wasn't going to show up. He was never going to be part of the trial. And the state had, quote, almost given up on him as a witness. And then he was watching the trial. He was still on the witness list, but he was still watching the trial in jail on other charges. And while he was watching the trial and saw his name being thrown around, he watched all the videos and heard all of the testimony. And then he suddenly remembered where he was sitting, in which vehicle, and et cetera, et cetera. And then he contacted the prosecutor out of the goodness of his heart and said, aha, I have refreshed my recollection whilst violating the sequestration rule that is in effect. And so I'm ready to testify. And so the judge was going through the whole big thing about, okay, when did you tell him about the sequestration rule? And he said, last Thursday. This thing happened 4.5 years ago. And they just told the guy on their witness list last Thursday not to watch anything about this. So they're saying, no, this is an independent recollection. They would have showed him the video anyway to refresh his memory and prepare him for trial. So it's no big deal. And he changed his testimony based on the video. But that's, he didn't change his testimony, Judge. He just refreshed his recollection. So yeah, that's it. Steve Gosney says, Legal Vices, how about a summary of the evidence against D presented to date for us slackers? Well, the prosecution has been pretty disjointed in their presentation. You kind of have to piece a lot of it together yourself. But once you do, it kind of makes sense. The long and short of it, like hitting the highlights of the evidence against the defendant. They were at a recording studio. They left the recording studio at some time before the murders in two different cars. There was Bortland in the This is in this Jeep. Bortland was the driver. The defendant was behind the driver, and then the two victims were on the passenger side, front and back. The prosecution's theory, which they're saying, is that this phone that they've tracked all around town belongs to the defendant. although it's registered to someone else and the actual name on the phone is yet another person, one of the deceased, by the way, they're saying it was the defendant's phone. Why do they say it's the defendant's phone? Because they marched through hundreds of pictures, selfies of him, pictures of him with other people, texts to his mother, texts that were really, really bad, by the way, texts that were saying things like, hey, I got a Glock 40, things are great. Glock 40 is awesome. Woo. And then 2 days after the murder, texting his mother going, Mom, can you buy me a Glock 40? I know I've got other guns, but I really need a Glock 40. And of course, the implication there is the one he owned prior to the murders has been disposed of in some way, shape, or form. And now he needs another Glock 40 to go, see, still got my Glock 40 over here. So apart from that evidence, we have the trajectory people that are using their trajectory rods to show that the murders happened inside the vehicle. The defense is saying the defendant wasn't even in there at the time of the vehicle, and this was a horrible, horrible drive-by shooting. It was a drive-by shooting. My guy had nothing to do with it. He wasn't there, and also it was a drive-by shooting because there was holes on the side of the vehicle that were from the outside going in. Well, the prosecution, they put on evidence saying, you look at our little trajectory rods here. As you can see, several of the shots, including the headshots to both victims, came from the seat behind the driver's side rear seat. Parentheses, where the defendant was shown getting into the vehicle on surveillance video. And they had their trajectory expert guy testify that the shots from the outside of the vehicle, based on their pattern, their spacing and whatnot, were fired by a stationary person at a stationary vehicle. And all of the bullets that hit the victims from the outside, from the right side of the car, they weren't bleeding. All the blood was from the left side injuries. There was no blood coming from the right side of the bodies where they were hit, meaning they were dead before they were shot through the driver's side in a allegedly staged drive-by shooting. Well, they also have the defendant's phone, the phone that they believe the defendant was primarily using or primarily responsible for, therefore his phone. It was with the murdered people's phones until about 15 minutes before they showed up at the hospital. Approximately 15 minutes before they went to the hospital, the phones went different directions. Yeah, that's problematic because then shortly thereafter, the defendant drops a pin to the other people and says, hey, I'm here at this location. Can you please come and pick me up? So, yeah, and then they had one of the deceased person's mother on the stand last Thursday. And she said, yes, that's my boy getting in that passenger side seat. And yep, that's the defendant getting in the rear driver's side seat. Yep. So it's not looking good. That's the gist of the evidence that the prosecutor has against the defendant. And here they're showing the video here. Let's bring up some audio. They're showing.
He was limiting the examination, and now he's trying to determine whether he's going to get up at all. Initially, the state was arguing we don't want drug use, we don't want other bad acts, we don't want certain information, and the judge made those determinations. But now the defense has actually objected and said he shouldn't get in at all. And here's why. The defense is saying Mellie's right to a fair trial is being violated because the witness, Travian Glass, has watched, and he said this during the deposition, he has watched the trial while it's being live streamed. And so for that reason, he has not been sequestered. The judge was really trying to determine, when did the state advise Travian Glass that
Thursday.
he should not be watching the trial? And he was literally just advised last week, certainly
despite
when
being on the
he
defense list,
contacted
I mean, on the
state that he
prosecution's
was
witness
going
list
to
for
respond
4
to that subpoena.
years.
So it would be very interesting. It's the first time I think we've had someone who is actually at the scene of the crime. And so if he is allowed
He
in,
wasn't
it
at the
should
scene of the crime.
shed some light
He
on
was
what's
in
been going
another
on.
vehicle.
No, I said we kind of jumped out of that because we are planning to jump back. But how did it all wrestle in the end? How did the arguments end before the jury was brought in?
Yeah, the judge has not determined that. He's determining two things right now: whether Travian Glass is going to get on that stand, and he's also determining whether Daniel Benitez, who was here, he's the custodian of record for the Montessori school, which had some surveillance of what happened that night. He's determining whether or not the jury can watch that video. Apparently, the defense has not seen that video, so the judge decided to take a break. He wants to very seriously consider both of these issues. Is Travian Glass going to get on that stand, and whether or not this video is going to be shown to the jury? I might also add, Jesse, that he wants to see what else the state has for the day. And we do know that lead detective Moretti is going to be called and will be ready once these issues have been determined.
Yeah. So again, we were a little bit behind, but there was a witness who took the stand. And my understanding, it was about providing surveillance video to law enforcement. What do we know about that testimony? And I also understand it ended early.
Right. Well, that was Daniel Benitez, and he was on the stand maybe 5 minutes, Jesse, and he stated that he owned and operated that Montessori school, which was nearby, and he had surveillance. Now, he didn't testify yet as to what surveillance he had, and the judge wants to watch that video before the judge determines whether the jury can watch it. And the defense objected, and so that's why the judge wants to take a look at that. And I believe the defense is taking a look at it, too. I think that was one of the reasons they had a sidebar, so we could not hear that part. But it does seem as though one of the reasons the defense has objected is because they have not seen that video yet either. So, Jesse, that jury could very well see some video of what was going on that evening, and they may very well hear what exactly Travian Glass has to say.
You mentioned Detective
Well, we'll just have to wait and
Moretti.
find out.
I might be mispronouncing his name. What do we anticipate his testimony is going to be?
That's Detective Moretti. And yes, I think it's going to be very interesting. He is the lead detective here. And remember, he is the detective that they have accused, the defense has accused of not doing a good job in terms of investigating this case. He is also the detective who reordered, I believe, the DNA analysis of the DNA on the back door of the subject vehicle on the left-hand side. And there was also some discussion of a Celebrate report that the judge said cannot get in because the state did not produce that to the defense. So I think the judge really wants this detective to come on and to clarify some issues, and he wants the state to proceed with their case. He's asking them, who do you have? Are they ready? Can you proceed? What if I decide Travian Glass cannot come on? Are you ready to go? And the state said, yes, we will be ready. The judge said, is your witness here? Is Moretti here? And she said he will be here. So he's ready to get the case rolling and to have them close on their case at this point.
And remind us, there was that issue about the DNA because the first test that they didn't come back positive for the defendant's DNA. It was only a subsequent test that came back and they found something, which goes to the idea of how thorough the law enforcement techniques were and how, I think the defense has been very keen at suggesting it was a sloppy investigation. Not saying it was, but I think that's what they were trying to suggest.
That's exactly what they're trying to suggest. They're saying that it was a botched. They use the word botched investigation, and
I think the defense
has been going on since 2018.
Is doing a very,
and it was only in June of 2023 this year that Moretti decided, look, let me go back and see if I can get a second look at that DNA, and that evidence came back. And so at first, no DNA from YNW Melly was on that car. And then when they went back for a second time, apparently there was some DNA on that back door.
That's going to be interesting cross-examination. So that'll be some interesting cross-examination. So the first time you did it, there was no DNA found. So then you said, are you sure there's no DNA? Are you really, really sure there's no DNA? I think there might be some DNA. Why don't you go back and test that again to see if there really might possibly be some DNA for the defendants on that?
That's a great question. I do see a packed courtroom this morning. Both sides are filled. I do see Christopher Thomas's mom in there. I see Mellie's grandmom. His mom's not here yet, but she's on her way apparently. And the jury is there all ready to go. They have their jackets because it's normally quite cold in the courtroom.
The jury's been there for an hour and a half.
Today the temperature is a little bit more comfortable. I think
Steve,
everyone is ready to
start
start the defense case. Everyone is on their tippy toes as they're arguing these motions, and they're very solid arguments, and I think they are ready to have this trial come to
well. See, and this is the thing the judge said, is Detective Moretti your last witness? I don't know if they meant last witness today or if they meant last witness of the entire trial. So that's interesting. Because like I said, they don't have any any medical examiner testimony in yet. They could use a lot more expert testimony. Well, whatever. I hope to God it's the very last witness and before the prosecution rests. But yeah, who knows? All right. Well, let's bump that out a little bit while that's going on and read the few more super chats that have come in. Brian Alleman with a $10 super chat, who has now taken over the role of Vice Racks of the Day from Flux. Your cocktail sounds like a variation on the Capriana, which is the best drink to get absolutely hammered on during scorching summer afternoons. Well, that's more of a rum Coke than I would or a bourbon Coke kind of thing, I guess. The Capriana, great Brazilian drink though, by the way. Yeah, it's a good refreshing drink. But anywho, that catches us up on the oldie super chats and bumps us $10 closer to Doggo Cam. All right, let's get our Doggo banner set up. Dog Cam gets for those of you playing at home, Dog Cam achievement gets unlocked at $100, and that's also when we drop the Law and Cuck cage on Law and Cuck. So let's pull this down, go to our banners, go to our overlays, and drop this down to 80. Here we go. Still miles and miles and miles away, but we're having fun. So all right, still nothing going on in the courtroom. Law and Crime says 60% not guilty. This dude is guilty AF. Well, 60%, probably more than 60% of Law and Crime seems to be YNW Melly fans. So there's a little bit of just bias from the gallery. So I would say I would have had to have voted not guilty the first 8 or 9 days. After that, I think the crime scene investigator guy that did all the trajectories and YNW Juvie's mom turned the tables. They gave very, very strong, very, very compelling testimony. So now I'm thinking the state's going to have to come up with some pretty good explanations, such as at what time did he get out of that vehicle? Where did he go? What did he do? And who got in the vehicle? Who committed the murders? And then where'd they go? Otherwise, you go, okay, guy got in. That's where the fatal kill shots came from. An hour and a half after they leave the show, after they leave, an hour and a half after they leave the recording studio, 3 people show up at the hospital instead of 4. And all of the phones were together until about 15 minutes before they arrived at the hospital. That's really problematic for the defense. There has to be something to overcome that. Something to place reasonable doubt back in my head. I'm looking for it. I'm waiting for it, and I'm being open-minded. But if I had to throw down a vote today, it would be guilty. I can't think of a reasonable doubt that would explain this situation. Unless it was he got out someplace at some point in time and the driver somehow got out of the vehicle, came around and shot them in the head from the rear passenger seat and then staged everything. That doesn't, for some reason, that just doesn't feel reasonable to me. Just saying. All right, back on the stand. Let's see here.
You're currently employed?
Sure. I'm employed at Montessori Academy in Broward.
Nope, that's still the.
Have you been
That's. I'm going to pause it.
Montessori school
We'll
in
just
one
want
capacity or another since October?
to bump it back again. That's still the last witness. We just said, "Yep, that's my surveillance video." We don't need him anymore. All right, just wait for it. They psyched me out. They went back and they didn't have their little. This is a recording banner thing they keep going at the bottom. So I was confused. What do we have here? Go back through chats here. Why don't you count the $2 super chats? Are they on a? Yes, I do count them. They just don't put us. They only go in $10 increments. You know, I don't have like $89, $88, $87. Just when we pass the $10 threshold, we go down to the next one. So yeah, $2 are counted. Of course, they're counted. So there you go. We count everything, including your $11 super chat, which puts you as the Vice Racks of the day. Let's see. Oh, we have a message here from Brian Ellerman. Just white rum, a shitload of limes and sugar and ice. Well, why would it's actually dang it, sorry. It's kashaka, which is in the cocktail. It's kind of rum. It's more of a dark rum. It's made from sugar cane, like direct sugar cane. That's why I'm saying it's more of a rum Coke kind of thing, because it has the sweet carameliness, the molassesiness that we would have in a Coke. I'm saying flavor profile wise, I think it's closer to a rum and Coke. Not ingredients, not what the ingredients are, just like the flavor profile is closer to like the taste of a rum and Coke. All righty, looks like now we are back. Nope, they just psyched me out again. Dang it. Well, I am just going to let this play here, because why not?
Would be intending on publishing the entire thing for the jury. But just so it's clear, this was previously provided from the record to defense counsel. We just now at Sidebar learned that they had not been able to watch it and the file was corrupted. They have not told us or asked.
Is the judge getting angry at the prosecution again?
Didn't we just take care of that Sidebar? Didn't I ask him that?
Yes, but I'm making sure the record is clear on the state's part on that. In addition to the other images and things that she discussed in videos, those were from the phone, and those were available for defense. They were in my office on Friday afternoon. As to the things I said I would email, that was the PDF of all the photos that
not
were published
Kamchatka
on Thursday afternoon. Just so it's very clear.
Okay, I'm back here right now with trial attorney Janine Atamian and federal law attorney Gwen Marie Davis Hicks.
Oh, working to unlock dog cam achievement.
Interesting morning.
Sonia,
right?
Chris,
so
you're doing good. Off with... All right, man, the judge is taking this seriously here. He's considering this for a long time. Yeah, we're still talking about alcohol, Dad GPT, because you haven't given us a better topic to talk about and haven't asked any other questions for us to address. So, yeah, I listened to the chat. We in these little down times we just sort of do whatever it is that the chat happens to want, and the chat was asking about booze because I am the legal vices. I know my alcohols. So Smart 15, legal vices. So is the state saying this was a gang initiation killing? No, they just made a lot about how the defendant was in a gang. He was part of the Bloods. Seems like the whole purpose of that was to say, ooh, scary defendant. He has gang ties. Why weren't these his bandmates that helped him make money? It doesn't make sense. They were his best friends. I believe he knew Juvie from the time they were very young kids. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but the prosecution doesn't have to prove motive. They just have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he did it. Doesn't matter why he did it, just whether or not he did it. And Aussie Overlord has saying, here's a $12 USD. You had it for 1 minute before Sonia or Chris said working to unlock doggo achievement. So let me put him up here as the dog master, the vice racks for the day. Then we'll do the calculations and figure out where we stand. Let's see here. Pull that down. Edit it. Huge thanks to today's Vice Racks. Sonia Chris. All caps. USD 20. Thank you so much for that very, very, very generous super chat. You have earned the distinction of being the Vice Racks today so far. And I guess we can take the Montessori school guy, Danny Benitez, off the witness list because he done. All right. Save and scroll. Now we have to do math. Lawyers can't do math. That's a damn it. Let's go, Brandon. Making me work. Let's go, Brandon. Bringing in what were the names of those cocktail books where you discovered some of these recipes? Can you show them off? Oh my God. All right. The name of the book, it's by Charles H. Baker. It's The Gentleman's Companion. He said, again, it was the 1920s, 1930s. Charles H. Baker, he just kind of traveled the world collecting decadent food recipes and cocktail recipes, and he made a book. He put them in book form, one for the exotic cookery book and one for the exotic drinking book. And he tells each cocktail where it came from, tells a little bit of a story about how it came to be. And there's a couple hundred cocktails in here. We've made a few of them. We'll continue to make a few of them. So yeah, it's actually a pretty darn good book. You can get it on Amazon. So let's go, Brandon. That's the answer to your question. Well, wait. All right. I'm falling behind, but I don't know what's going on. We have, it doesn't matter where we are. We've got, oh my God, stop it. We are, well, and by stop it, I mean, please don't stop it. Whatever you do, don't stop it. Keep the super chats coming, of course, but we are well past Doggo Cam. So now we'll do the honorable thing and then we'll get back to the super chats here. Hang on. We're settle down here for a second. All right.
Release the hounds.
Introducing not only Doggo Cam, it's new Doggo Bed Cam. Part of your hard-earned money that went to super chats was invested in a nice cushiony little bed for the dog, so they can sit here and sleep in a nice comfortable bed. They don't have to sit in the hard plastic anymore and scratch, and you hear all that scratching noise while they move around. Now they have a comfortable little bed to sleep in. Where are we going here? There, my little buddies. That's part of the bed, and for some reason Bozo Strawberry isn't in the bed, but Yoda is. So that's the newest addition to the doggo, the doggo comfort life. Their big old bed. So it's big enough for them. My goal with this is to stop them from peeing in it. Like every cushy soft bed I give them, they just piss on it. So for about an hour and a half, I just kind of rolled around on that with them and let them think that it's my bed, so don't be pissing in it. So far so good. They've had it for about 4 hours and nobody's peed on it yet. All right, let's catch up on some super chats while we're waiting for this here. Let's see. Let's go. Brandon says, what were the names of those cocktail books? We just read that. Aussie Overlord 2002 USDs. You made it for just a couple. Oh, we're back in court here. Dang it. Of course we are.
Take a look at the
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
video for review.
Thank you for the 2002 USD.
All right, so is there any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, so we'll do this again in front of the jury. So bring the jury in, please.
All right, they're going to do something in front of the jury. And Ben says, been there, done that, says another wrench in your math. But Hempland, Texas seems to have solved the problem with a crazy, crazy generous super chat. Hempland, Texas. Thank you so much. The hounds have been released.
Release the hounds.
Thank you. I'm deeply appreciative of that. Now Strawberry, here, you can go over there. There you go. Get up there. Sing for your money. I paid good money for that bed. Relax, sleep on it, and don't pee on it. And Wolfram pokes his fingers through the kennel cage trying to pet the doggos. Oh, and speaking of cage, we got to put the cup cage up, don't we? Unhung Hero says some good news. Larry Nassar stabbed in prison. Yeah, we addressed that a little bit earlier. Isn't that a shame? And Brian Miller. Don't they have to prove motive to get the death penalty, or is it just a jury vote? It's just a jury vote, and not even a majority jury vote. It's 8 out of the 12 jurors. All it takes to kill him if he's convicted. We have Strawberry ascending to her throne. All right.
Say we move into evidence what was pre-marked as H, is 82.
Is there any objection?
No objection, Your
Honor. It'll be admitted.
Nothing further.
Is there any cross-examination of this witness?
No, I have not. I have not.
Thank you, sir. You may step down. Your excuse.
I have not. Let's go, Brandon. I did not send Elsie his invite for Effin' Friday. All right. See you, Montessori school guy.
You going to publish a video? No. You going to call your next witness then? Who's your next witness?
Travian Glass.
Why don't you come sidebar, please?
All right. They're going to call Glass. And I assume the judge is going to give a very, very specific set of things they are not allowed to discuss while they're at sidebar here. But as we know, that doesn't seem to stop the prosecution from asking things specifically that the judge told them not to ask. We saw that a little bit earlier in the trial. So, all right, let me figure out where we're going here. Ooh. Hello. Let's see. The Vice Racks of the day is Hempland, Texas so far. So we need to alter this. All right. We get the passenger, one of the other YNW crew, I guess. I don't know if he's officially part of it, but he was in the other vehicle that was there. The reddish vehicle. So he's going to give some damning testimony, and then they're just going to crush him on cross-examination. They're going to crush him for drug use and credibility and his criminal record, and they're going to do a number on him, I think. But will it be enough to overcome whatever it is he has to say, or is he going to say anything worthwhile anyway? We don't know. We'll just have to find out here in a few minutes. All right, we're in another lengthy sidebar, and let's spin this. We'll leave it. We'll leave it there. Wish I'd come back here because I need to step out of the room for a moment, if you know what I mean. Still no Chandler Remington sighting. I hope she's feeling well. Hope she's just sleeping the sleep of the just. Okay.
Next witness, please.
All right.
Travian Glass.
Travian Glass. Bring him on in. Witness. I'm gonna take a stab at spelling of a Trevian Glass. See how close I was to the actual spelling of his name. Oh, court reporter Ronnie James Dio has done her hair. Mr. Glass. Mr. Glass, where are you? While we're doing that, we'll pimp the like button. Please smash that like button. 765 you here, 516, 600. We need to get up to 600. 600 is where it seems to be that golden number where YouTube starts to pay attention and let people know that the stream is going on and that you should come here and watch something that a lot of people are watching live and liking. So if I could just get you to reach down there and hit that like button, and while you're at it, the subscribe button is right next to it. Just click, done. Then you can take our silly little poll. Currently, the leader of the why you liked and subscribed is because you're waiting for Bortland to testify. He may not be testifying. I hope so. That would be fun. Oh, nice. Nice hair, dude. That's a good courtroom. That's good courtroom hair. All right. How far away is this witness?
Yes, good morning. Are you Mr. Glass? Are you Mr. Glass? Sir. Welcome. This is our witness stand over here. Why don't you come to the witness stand? What I'd like to do is remain standing. Raise your right hand and be sworn.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you should give in this case should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Please state your full legal name for the record. Please spell your first and last name for the court reporter. Trevian. Thank you.
Please have a seat.
Missed the spelling by 2 letters.
Mr. Glass, that microphone in front of you will only adjust up or down. It doesn't move back and forth.
All right, I shall return momentarily.
Scoot up close to the microphone. All right, you ready to proceed, sir? Counsel, you may.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning, Mr. Glass.
Good morning.
And I know you're quite soft-spoken, so I'm gonna need you to speak out a little louder, okay? And remember, you have to make oral responses, okay?
Yes.
How old are you?
23.
And where are you currently living? What city?
Real Beach.
And have you lived there all your life?
Majority of it.
Okay. You completed high school, or what was the last grade you completed?
11.
Right. You're not married, correct?
Excuse me?
You're not married?
No.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about some prior stuff before we get into why you're here today. Have you previously been convicted of a felony? Yes or no?
Yeah.
And how many times?
To my best of knowledge, once.
Okay. If I were to show you something, would that refresh your recollection?
Yeah.
A prior judgment? Permission to approach the witness?
Show counsel first, please.
Yes. I'm going to ask you to just look at the document, don't say anything. Okay? Have you had an opportunity to review the document? You have to answer.
Yes.
Right? Is your memory fresh as to how many convictions you have?
2. What was that one? The other one? I'm not sure. Let's see, 2 charges.
All right. Now, you currently have some pending charges in Indian River County, correct?
Yeah.
And those are 2 charges?
Yeah.
Misdemeanor resisting without violence
Yeah.
Wait, where'd the witness go?
And
Where is he?
obstruction of service or execution of a search warrant.
Yeah.
Are those misdemeanors or felonies?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
He doesn't
Have you
know?
the penalty you're facing on those charges?
No.
Okay. Have you been offered probation in that case?
Yeah.
Why faster?
And have you been made any
Whiskey.
promises in exchange for your testimony here today?
No.
Right? So let's go back to October 26th of 2018. What were you doing like for work?
I wasn't working at all.
All right. Were you involved in the music business at all?
Kind of, sort of.
And how so?
Making beats.
All right. And when you were making beats, were you working with a specific group or music group or people?
My father used to pick beats, but that was probably different.
One person to be particular, but yeah.
Okay.
Supposed to be in a group.
All right. Let's start by saying this. What group was it?
YNW.
All right.
Thank you,
And
Adriana.
when you said one person specifically, who was that person?
Julie.
Okay. And can you tell the members of Judy's real name?
Christian Thomas.
And how long had you known Christopher Thomas, who you refer to as Judy?
Over a decade.
Okay. And this is back in October. And did you know somebody by the name of Anthony Williams who went by Sack Chaser?
Yeah.
And how long had you known Sack Chaser?
A couple years.
All right. Your Honor, permission to approach the witness with state 73.
It's in evidence, yes.
Yes.
You may proceed.
Well, that was part of what he was saying. The defense was arguing he's unreliable because he's smoked so much marijuana he can't remember anything.
State 73.
That was part of their argument.
Do you recognize that person in the state's photograph?
Yes, my dad picked sugar beets
18-3
when he was a kid.
I do.
And who is that?
Out west of Logan.
Anthony Williams.
So back on October 26, 2018, do you recall being at the New Era studio?
Yeah.
Who were you there with?
Swan Lake Lady's a homie, so she knows what I'm talking about when I say picking beats
Okay.
out west of Logan.
Was Judy and Sack there?
Correct.
All
All
right.
right. And do you recall around what time you guys got to the studio?
Now, hang on real quick, people here. I'm noticing that I'm watching this on Edge right now, and Chrome, they have closed captions. So I'm going to quickly restart the Law and Crime video to see if we can get the closed captions. So we'll be just a couple of seconds behind here. I want to get the closed captions because he's just kind of mumbling a little bit. So let me quickly bring this back up, and hopefully we'll be able to get some captions here on Edge. Nope, weird. Why is that? All right, let me bring it up. Closed captions are only on Chrome and not Edge today. That's weird, but okay, whatever. All right. Share screen. Sorry about that pointless interruption.
He was sleeping, so
we
ended up going home because
back it up.
in the studio.
Just 1 minute.
I'm not sure when we arrived.
Okay. Was it light or dark outside?
I believe it was dark. I'm not sure.
All right. And what was the intention going to the studio?
I believe we were supposed to have a 12-hour session.
All right. And that's a 12-hour recording session, right?
Yeah.
And who was the artist that was recording that night?
Really, everybody was artists. And
All right. Did you guys end up staying for 12 hours?
nah,
Okay. What changed and why didn't you end up staying?
to the best of my knowledge, people were sleeping, so we ended up going home because, sleep in the studio.
All right. And part of that is because studio time is obviously, it's costly, right?
Objection to stay.
Okay. You just said it was.
Wow,
paid
that was
for.
an
What
aggressive
paid for?
sustain by the judge.
All right. So you guys had prepaid for 12 hours.
Correct.
And obviously not utilizing that 12 hours, is that a waste?
Objection, Your Honor.
Stay.
Leading.
I'll move on. How long, well, you said that people were sleeping. Who was sleeping?
Everybody but me, Anthony, and Chris.
All right. So who was upset that people were sleeping?
Objection, leading.
Who was upset overall?
There was no testimony that anybody was upset.
Okay, rephrase your question.
Was someone upset that people were sleeping?
I guess you could say that, yeah.
And who was that person?
Sad.
That's true.
And how did Zach respond? How did Zach respond to people sleeping?
He's a snitch.
Woke him up and let him know it's time to go.
All right. And how did he do that?
Yeah, he went in and woke him up, shook him up.
All right. Was there an occasion where he threw water on some people to wake them up?
Objection, Your Honor.
What the hell was that?
Can we go sidebar?
Counsel, if you make an objection, make an objection. Don't be arguing in front of the jury. I told you that before.
I
All right?
understand. Can we go sidebar?
No speaking objections.
Can we
Come
go
sidebar. Sure.
Thank you.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. The defense is pissed, rightfully so. Judge is pissed, rightfully so. The prosecution are just being assholes at this point. Yeah, judge is pissed. And so is the defense, but the defense has every right to be. These questions, one after the other, have been leading. Well, as Brandon said, you probably have to ask leading questions to get anything out of this pothead who doesn't remember his own damn name. But yeah, the judge is having none of it. So he's probably reaming both of them. He's probably reaming out the prosecutor for asking these stupid questions, these leading questions. He's probably getting after the defense for these speaking objections. But I think the speaking objections were absolutely warranted here, and I probably would have done the same thing, admonishment or not. I'd want to let the jury know just how improper that was for the prosecution to continue to do this and how pissed I am about it.
So at some point, you just mentioned that you guys were getting ready to leave the studio.
Yeah.
Publishing states 72. I published image number 1 in state 72.
This is a death case. The witness or the sidebar, Ozzy?
Mr. Glass, can you see that photo on the screen in front of you?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. And who's that person?
The best of my knowledge, Mellie.
Okay. And the person I'm referring to, what is he wearing?
A jacket.
All right. Do you recognize the person on the other side of the photograph wearing what appears to be a black shirt?
I'm sort of.
Oh God, I didn't even see this person. I'm such a racist. I didn't even see that person.
Number 2.
She said the person in the black shirt. I'm like, where? Oh.
Do you recognize the individuals in that photograph?
2 or 3 of them, yeah.
Okay, so what you can do is identify them by the clothing that they're wearing.
Black shirts and jeans.
Jewel, and black jacket in the left, sack in the middle, jean jacket.
The grill.
Black jacket.
And Sack is he standing or sitting?
Sitting.
And Tay, is he standing or sitting?
Sitting.
And you said Portland was wearing the black jacket. Is he standing or sitting?
Who?
Oh, how did you refer to him? My apologies.
Tay.
No.
Or Julie.
The person wearing the black jacket, who did you identify that as?
Julie wearing black jacket. Also, is Tate wearing black jacket?
Yeah, which black jacket?
The person wearing the black jacket who's standing up. Do you recognize that individual?
Chris.
Okay. Do you recognize the people in photograph image 3?
Same one you just showed. Same person.
The sentencing should happen immediately after the judgment, is my understanding. Steve Gosney in chat could probably tell us a little more about that.
The 3 images that were just shown from State 72, do you recall when those photographs were taken?
Same night.
Would that be, what date would that be?
Sentencing immediately following the judgment.
Of 2018?
Yeah.
What location were those photographs taken in?
New Era Promotions Studio.
Was that the studio we just discussed that you guys were hanging out at?
Yeah.
So is this monitor interfering with the defendant's right to confront his accuser? That's my question. I mean, the answer is no, because they can see his face. We just can't. But I think it's funny.
Publishing 10/26/2018, beginning at timestamp 217.
Probably.
Mr. Glass, you recognize the 2 individuals, and this screen pause at 217:47.
Do I recognize the back of the head?
Yes, you recognize them.
I just see it back of the head.
Okay, I'm going to continue to play.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's pretty distinctive hairstyle. And were they in your vehicle or not?
Do you recognize anyone at timestamp 217:52?
Still back of the head.
Do you see an individual standing next to a red vehicle?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay, you just said that's who?
Cool.
All right. And what is Kobe's real name?
That's what I know about Kobe.
All right. Would anything refresh your recollection as to his legal name?
I don't know.
If I were to show you your prior statement, would that refresh your recollection?
If I were to show you your prior statement where you told us what his real name was, would that help?
Permission to approach the witness.
Right.
Oh, my Lord. This guy's just dicking with the prosecution now. He just wanted a day out of jail, it sounds like.
Mr. Glass, if you could take a moment and look at this.
So, yeah, if I get a day out of jail, I'll come and testify.
Loud and look up when you're done.
And then he can go back and say, I didn't say anything helpful. Save his life. No, Travian Glass is a passenger in the other car, in the red car. The driver of the murder car was Portland. YNW Portland. He can't read, come on. He has exceptionally long fingers. He has like E.T. fingers.
Has your memory been refreshed as to the legal name of Kobe?
Yes.
And what is Kobe's legal name?
Objection.
What's the objection?
Sorry, I was.
I'm sorry, there was no real objection. I just like saying it. I just like saying the word.
And if you could repeat the last name for the court provisional.
Yes.
Right, I'm going to continue to publish date 7. There is a second individual at the red Mitsubishi vehicle. Do you recognize that second individual?
Not really, no.
Okay. How about the individual that is standing at the gray Jeep?
That's sad.
Okay.
This guy is just
Continue to
screwing.
publish.
He just has to be screwing with the prosecution. No one is this stupid. Is one of those people you?
I'm pausing at timestamp 2:18:21. Do you see that individual who's walking away from the Mitsubishi Jeep?
No.
I see him, yeah.
Do you recognize him?
That's 80.
Okay, and again, I'm gonna ask you for AD's legal name.
Oh, no.
I know his last name, Davis.
Okay, would, looking at your statement refresh your recollection as to his legal name?
I guess so.
Honor, permission to approach?
Same
Yes, Judge.
I'm starting to get the feeling he just wanted a day out of jail. If I recall correctly, they said he's in jail on other charges. You know, he just wants to hang out for a day, and then he gets to go back and go, "I didn't snitch. I was totally unhelpful. So please don't shank me."
Same procedure. You can take a look at that and look up.
But regardless of whatever the prosecution hoped to get out of this guy, I don't think they've gotten out of him yet. I don't think this is what they were hoping for.
No. Without speaking, has your memory been refreshed as to AD's legal name?
Yes.
Okay, what is AD's legal name?
Adrian Davis.
Adrian Dickus. He has a cousin.
Continuing to publish, date 7.
Dickus.
Mr. Glass, let me know if I need to rewind the video, but you had a chance to look at the face of the individual wearing what appears to be a white shirt and blue shorts?
It's me.
Okay.
Well, he can identify himself. Congratulations.
I'm pausing the video at 2:18:41. You see that individual carrying something across his shoulder, wearing what appears to be a blue jacket. Do you see that person on the video?
I see the back of his head.
Do you see the back of the head of the person wearing the jeans jacket?
Correct.
Was that person the same person that you previously identified in state?
Sustain, rephrase it.
Okay. We previously looked in state 72 at an individual you identified as Mellie.
Objection, Your Honor.
Good God.
One moment.
One moment. Let me think of a different way of asking this question for this numbnut.
Publishing state 72.
Asked and answered, Your Honor.
There's no question pending.
I didn't even ask the question. Is your name Travian Glass? I just like that.
Do you see the jacket in states 72, image number 3, the front of that jacket?
Yeah.
You see that jacket in states image 1 of state 72.
I see the same thing y'all see.
We spoke about this, Mr. Glass.
I'm standing that way.
You ask questions, right?
I'm asking questions, Mr. Glass, and I'm just asking you to respond if you have knowledge. Is that jacket that was in image number 1 and image number 3 the jacket that Mellie was wearing on October 26th of 2015?
To the best of my knowledge.
To the best of your knowledge, yes or no?
Yes.
Publishing state 7.
No, there are actually several. Where do we go? Yeah, there's several white lawyers in Korea. Yeah, no, they don't have a clue they can mute that noise. Clearly. That's Yoda. That's Yoda sleeping on the bed. Strawberry's on the chair.
Back to state 7, timestamp 2:18:41. The individual that's on screen wearing a jacket and it appears to be something across his back. Who is that individual?
Objection, asked and answered.
Overruled.
Well, it hasn't been asked.
Mr. Glass, you can respond.
I see the same person as last time.
Okay, and can you tell us who that same person is? Continuing to publish.
Dad GPT, what are you sorry for? What have you done, and how may I absolve you?
Mr. Glass, do you see that individual carrying something in their left hand? I'm asking if you see them, just if you see them. Do you recognize that person? Okay, and who is that person?
There's the victim getting in the Jeep. Al.
Mr. Glass, can you identify for the record, and I know there's a video, but can you identify which vehicle you got into? And can you tell us who was in that car with you?
Kobe, Tay, and 80.
So 80, Tay, and Cody.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
So that is a total of 4 people?
Correct.
And in the vehicle to the left of the screen, the Jeep, who entered that vehicle to your knowledge?
Everybody else that was there. Zach, Mellie, Julie, Court.
Well, they're dumb. They don't know.
And by my count, is that also
You're
4
absolved.
people?
Correct.
Right? And when those, okay. Continuing to publish at 2:19:36. I'm going to stop at 2:19:46. At the time you left the studio in that red Mitsubishi, where were you headed?
Supposed to be home.
Okay, and who's home?
It's Mellie house.
Okay, and was everybody in that red car headed to Mellie's house?
To the best of my knowledge.
Okay, and what about the Jeep? Where was your understanding that that Jeep was headed? The gray Jeep?
Same spot.
Okay. So both cars left the studio with the intention of heading to what you identify as Mellie's house?
Correct.
Can you tell us, I guess, what was the mood or the vibe at the studio?
I'm in the mood for a melody. I'm in the mood.
5 years ago. Can't tell you nothing random.
Okay, if you don't recall, that's fine. Was there any physical confrontation that you observed at the studio?
Physical. Let's
It was
get
like a
into
regular day.
physical.
Studio, smoking drink.
All right. And you just mentioned smoking. What were you smoking, specifically you?
Weed.
At least he's honest. Give him some brownie points for honesty.
All right. And now the vehicles, we saw that the gray vehicle on the video pulled off first. Can you tell us where you guys, the route you guys took to the best of your knowledge?
I can't tell you because I don't know.
Okay. Do you recall getting on a highway at all?
I recall being in the car while I was driving. I don't know where. I don't.
Both Steve Gosney. That was a bit of planned
the entire time
analysis.
you were in that vehicle?
I wasn't.
Okay. Do you know at what point you fell asleep?
I don't.
All right. And when you left the studio, you were awake. Is that a fair statement?
I was.
And at what point do you recall waking up, or what time do you recall the next thing you saw?
Once you came to a stop.
All right. And where did you come to a stop?
At the house gate.
And then
the
Reefer
house gate
Madness
for Mellie.
got a hold of Mellie and he shot up the entire Jeep and we all there was only 2 survivors. Reefer Madness is to blame.
When you got to the house gate at Mellie's house, who was inside your vehicle, the red Mitsubishi?
Same people you've seen get in the car.
All right. So by your testimony, Kobe, AD, Tay, and yourself.
Yes.
Okay. So still 4 people.
Still 4 people.
Do you recall how you guys entered the gate?
The gate was open for us.
And publishing states 47.
Odd that Hempland, Texas would find my Reefer Madness joke funny.
I'm gonna pause it at timestamp 3:49, looks like 58. Do you recognize that red Jeep? Mitsubishi?
I do.
Is that the vehicle that you left the studio in?
Yes.
And is this the guard gate you just testified to at Mellie's house?
Yes.
So they went to Mellie's house. Okay, that actually is a what could possibly go wrong? I'll be right back.
Okay, and do you see that screenshot at timestamp 3:51:31?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
Okay, do you see yourself inside that red Mitsubishi vehicle?
Yes.
And where are you located? Okay. And do you recall going through the gate, going through the procedure of going through the gate?
Yes.
So you get through the gate, where do you go next?
To the house.
All right. And can you tell us, you pull into the house, is there a driveway in the house, in front of the house?
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any other cars parked in that driveway when you get to the house?
No.
All right. Do you see the gray Jeep that you left the studio with at the house?
No.
All right. So what do you do when you get out of the vehicle?
From what I remember, I went upstairs and went to sleep.
Okay. And you said upstairs. So the house is how many stories?
Couple.
Okay. So you went upstairs to
Nicola, what's up,
where?
girl? We missed you while you were hanging around Greece.
Right.
Welcome
Was
back.
Judy in his room?
No.
Okay. Do you recall where Mellie's room was in the house?
Not upstairs.
Okay.
Not
Do you
upstairs.
recall where it was if it was not upstairs?
I think it was like first rooms when you come in the house.
Okay. Was Mellie at the house when you got there, from what you can recall?
No.
Did you see Mellie at any time in the house?
No.
Right. So you go upstairs in Judy's room, and what do you do?
Crash.
All right. Crash meaning.
Go to sleep.
Okay. At some point, do you wake up?
Yeah.
And why?
At some point, do you wake up? Yeah.
Phone calls.
Okay. Safe to say that your phone was getting a lot of phone calls, blowing up.
Yes.
All right. And at some point, you answer the phone, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you do in response to the phone calls?
I answered the one that kept ringing, and yeah.
All right. And so what do you do in response to getting that phone call?
I ended up at the hospital.
All right. Do you recall which hospital that was?
No, I don't.
Do you recall what city you were in at this point?
I was in Broward.
All right. What city? Not the
Oh,
county.
Miramar.
Okay. Do you know if you went to Miramar Hospital?
I don't know which hospital it was.
Okay. So you get to the hospital. What do you find out when you get to the hospital?
That Anthony and Christopher was deceased.
Okay. And
Vacation.
obviously at that, well, let me not
I
say
haven't been on
obviously,
vacation.
but at that point in time, what do you do? Or how do you react to that news?
Been right here. Vacation's next month.
Do you stay at the hospital?
Not long.
Right. Where do you go after the hospital?
I ended up somewhere, somebody's house.
All right. Do you recall whose house that was?
I don't know whose house it was, but I ended up there.
All right. Let's start with the city. Do you recall what city that house was in?
Miramar.
All right. Do you recall if it was in the same or different area than where Mellie's house was?
It looked similar.
Okay. And just to clarify, was it the same or different house than Mellie's house?
Different.
Okay. Where did you go when you went to that house?
What you mean?
Like, where in the house did you go? So you go to the house, where do you go?
I went inside the house, I was in the back.
Okay. And would
It's
your
just like
statement
pulling
reflect a recollection as to whose house you were at?
You got to the house. Where did you go when you got to the house? I went in the house.
Maybe.
Is there permission to approach? I'm going to show Axel the same statement.
Same procedure, Mr. Glass, if you could just review page 4.
Well, while he's reading page 4, Hempland, Texas says the judges had it. This will make my Monday amazing if the judge keeps this up. Also, they're wasting time. The jury is not going to believe anything this guy says. All he said is, no, I don't know. We went inside. There's a room somewhere.
If you could just read the entire page, and when you're done.
Dad
let me know.
GPT, thank you so much. He has become the newest member of the Clean and Sober crew. Thank you so much for joining the members, Dad GPT. We'd love to have you here. Thank you so much. What's up, Yoda? Totally not Hunter's bag of blow. We're all trying to figure that out.
Still don't see another Bible house in there.
Okay, I'm gonna now show you what's in evidence in state 62. Do you recognize the individuals in state 62?
Yeah,
Okay, who are those individuals?
Mellie and another dude, Fredo.
Okay, you said Mellie and another dude, Frito?
Yeah.
Do you know Frito's name and or any nicknames?
That's all I know about him.
Frito? Do you recall ever going to Frito's house?
Just that time.
And just that time being what time?
After I left the hospital.
Okay. So this,
Frito, you're my older brother, and I love you, but don't ever take sides with
And
anyone against the
for the
family
record,
again.
what
Ever.
is Frito wearing in the photograph?
Shirt. White shirt.
Okay.
I know it was you,
So after the hospital,
Frito.
you went to
I know it was
Frito's
you,
house.
Frito. You broke my heart.
To the best of my knowledge.
Okay. And what were you doing at the house?
Still grieving.
Okay. Who took you to the hospital?
The cameraman.
And do you recall his name?
Drew.
Right. And do you recall who took you from the hospital to
Is that a
Frito's house?
coffin? Oh my God.
All right. And before you left for the hospital, or actually, who went to the hospital with you and Drew?
Just true.
Okay. Who was at the house, Mellie's house, before you left for the hospital?
Oh, Frito pie is
Same
awesome.
people that only got it.
Okay,
Frito
and
chili, Frito
same
soup.
people being the 4 people that entered the Mitsubishi?
Yes.
So you're at Frito's house. You mentioned, and I forgot
I'll get you on
exactly
the
where you
break,
were in the
Wheeler.
house. Did you say where you were?
I'll get you on a break here.
Oh, no, not Mellie's house, Frito's house. Where were you in Frito's house?
Outside.
Okay. And who was at Frito's house when you first got there?
Everybody that wasn't at the house.
Okay, and it's because I don't know who everybody was or is, can you please specify?
I got to admit, when I go back to the States, that's one of the first things I do: buy a package of Twizzlers,
Okay. Was
and
that the
buy a
first
bag
time
of
you saw
Fritos
Mellie
and bean
after you
dip.
guys left the studio?
That's just a ritual.
Was Mellie wearing the same clothes or different clothes than when you saw him at the studio?
It was a new day. Nah, he wasn't.
Nah, he wasn't. You guys
He wasn't
specified.
wearing the same clothes.
Okay, do you recall what?
Okay, Mellie changed his clothes.
Just had on some shorts.
And how long did you stay at Frito Bane's house?
I don't know.
Like minutes, hours, days?
Could be minutes, could be hours.
Okay, so not days.
Not even a day.
Okay. And so when you got to Frito's house, was it light or dark outside?
Light.
And you previously said yourself and Mellie and someone else was at Frito's house. Was Frito there as well?
I think I did see him. I don't remember.
Okay.
Damn straight.
What happens while you're there? Like you're there, you're outside, what happens?
Grieving.
Okay. And you're grieving, are you grieving alone?
Yes.
Are you at the house, at any point in time, do more people come to the house or do people leave the house?
If they did come, I don't know. I was in the back.
Okay.
I was back there breathing.
At any point in time, did Mellie leave Frito's house?
Don't try to match my drinking. It's bad for people's health.
When I was there by myself.
But thanks.
All right. So you were there by yourself. So the people that you previously said were there were no longer there, correct?
Right.
And so do you know where they went during that time?
I don't.
All right. And we're still talking about October 26th of 2018, correct?
Yes.
And this would be shortly after the hospital?
Yes.
All right. At some point, does Mellie come back to Frito's house?
Did they go
I'm
loitering?
still grieving and getting a little, I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I guess Mellie comes back.
Yeah, I guess they did come back.
Right.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Okay. And at some point, does Mellie leave again, a second time?
I don't remember anything farther after that.
All right.
Me grieving. That was the last thing I remember was me grieving. Not even Gifford.
Last thing I remember was me
So before
grieving.
you end up in Griffin, if I were to show you a statement, would that refresh your recollection as to Mellie leaving and coming back a second time?
I suppose so.
Eh.
Under permission to show him his statement again?
Yes, sir.
Public service announcement from the Partnership for a Drug-Free America. Children, do not smoke weed, or this could happen to
Mr.
you.
Glass, I'm gonna give you page 5 and page 6. If you can take a look, you can start in the middle and review those pages.
It's not really by the
and look up.
Partnership for Drug-Free America. I just made it. Yeah, it's a real place, but I just made it up. They didn't really do that. That was a joke. I disavow. I wish I was drunk because I'd get more conversation from my man, and she's in a coffin. I wish I was drunk. Solid take.
Are you done? Is that a yes?
Yes.
Did that refresh your recollection?
Somewhat.
Okay, so tell us what you somewhat remember.
I just did.
If you recall, you said you weren't sure, you went to Gifford, and then I asked you if your statement would refresh your recollection. Does your statement refresh your recollection as to whether Mellie left again?
I'm not sure they left. I was grieving.
Okay.
I'm not sure what nobody did. I was grieving.
All right.
I was grieving. The defense
You
is going
mentioned-
to eat this guy's lunch.
Let's see. I pointed out to you someone was, the person that was wearing the jacket that you identified as Mellie was carrying something across his side or his back on the video. Do you recall seeing that?
Yes.
Okay. Do you recall what that's referred to?
Well, he is their witness. He did call them and say he wanted to testify.
Can it also
So
be
I think they had
commonly
some
referred to-
expectation that he would be helpful.
Stay.
Are you familiar with the term man?
Objection.
Watch from sidebar.
Why don't you come to the sidebar? Let the judge sort it out. Grieving equals smoking weed. Nice. That was good. Oh, that's funny. Wheeler925 asks, Legal Vices, recommend me a sub 100 pipe for a beginner. I would recommend you start with a Missouri Meerschaum, MERSHAUM corn cob pipe.
Again,
They're about $20. They're very, very beginner friendly. You can't fuck them up. And if you do, it's only $20. Start with a corn cob pipe. There's nothing. This is a custom made corn cob pipe. Corn cob pipes are the shit.
5 years ago, I don't recall.
Okay. Is there anything that can refresh your recollection as to whether or not anybody else is
I own a
wearing
bunch of
that?
corn cob pipes because they smoke amazingly well.
Supposed to.
If I were to show you the video again, would that refresh your recollection?
Supposed to.
Publishing Suite 7.
Mike and MU pipe? Oh, I want to carve me a pipe. Grift, grift, grift. Yes, they're actually made with corn cobs. You can see this. If you watched my my video on the submarine disaster last Monday.
Publishing Suite 7 at 219.
We'll talk about it later. Sorry. If you watch my Maritime Monday last after we talked about the Seawolf support vessel, the submarine, I kept saying Saywolf. This corncob pipe was custom made by a man named Saywolf. That's why I kept confusing Saywolf and Seawolf. But yeah, actual corncob.
And that's Christopher Thomas.
Yes.
Shame. Ceramic pipe. I have never smoked a ceramic pipe. I want one.
With the person I refer to as Track.
But I never smoked one.
No.
Okay. Do you know who Track is?
Not really.
Not really, or
I don't know who he is at all.
do you know of him?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you see Track on October 26th?
Mustang, I'm working on
2018
it.
at any point?
Trust me.
Do you recall giving a statement, specifically the statement that I've previously provided you with here today? To the detectives in this case. You have to answer out loud.
Yes.
That was a statement that you gave to Detective Moretti and another detective, I believe from Indian River. Is that correct?
Could be.
Do you recall in that statement giving a different response when asked?
Stay.
I'd be happy to product review one for you, Mike and M.
Showing you that statement, refresh your recollection as to anything regarding your interactions with Trek on track on October 26, 2018?
I don't know track.
No, my question was, which
We apparently have
refresh your
an
recollection.
uncivil law raid here.
Anytime you saw
Uncivil
track
law.
on October
Thank you,
26,
uncivil law Kurt Raiders. We're glad to have you here.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
One moment.
Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button on your way in, because that's what we do around here. 857 concurrent viewers, 611 likes. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Subscribe to me because, frankly, I deserve it. I keep you entertained while they're questioning a non-responsive drug-addled monitor. As I was saying, corncob pipes are incredibly forgiving. They're great beginner pipes, and you'll find you'll use them forever. I have 6 or 7 corncob pipes, different shapes, different sizes. I love them. Absolutely forgiving. Definitely the place to start. And then venture out into a Peterson or a Savinelli after you've kind of got the basics of smoking down. And watch, there's a YouTube channel by a guy called Mutton Chop Piper. Mutton Chop Piper is the goat pipe guy on YouTube. Go back and watch some of his old videos about how to start smoking pipes, how to get into it. It's Mutton Chop Piper is the guy's name. Did I read the transcript from the Ocean Gate, the Titan implosion? I did. I don't buy it. I don't think it's authentic. It doesn't feel right. There's too much time between we're hearing cracking noises and we've imploded. I don't buy it.
October 26th of 2018.
I might be wrong, but I just don't buy it.
And you recall where Mellie was at the time you went to Gifford?
I don't remember.
Was at some point at Frito's house, you guys all leave, meaning you,
this is
yourself,
him.
Everyone that you previously identified was there.
Objection, I don't recall.
You don't recall leaving?
I don't recall leaving with anyone. I don't know when I left. I don't know how I left.
Okay. Just to clarify my question, so you mentioned you left. When you left for Gifford, was anyone else at Frito's house?
I don't know.
Yeah. Pipe smoking is very cathartic. Very, very meditative. I'd enjoy it.
Do you recall Mellie making any statements in your presence while you were at Frito's house? Would showing you your statement reflect recollection as to anything Mellie told you while you were there?
I don't recall being told anything, so no.
Okay. You mentioned when they left the first time, you recall them at least leaving one time. Did you recall if when they came back, there were any statements regarding where they went?
Same.
No, don't answer that. So you remember them leaving the house at least once, correct?
Yes.
All right. Now, when they came back, do you recall any conversations that Mellie had in your presence that first time, after the first time?
I don't recall.
Would showing you your statement refresh your recollection as to those statements?
No, it would.
All right. Did you have a Facebook page back in October 26th of 2018?
Say no more, say no more. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more. Did she go? Did she go? What do I mean? Say no more. Did she go?
I'm approaching council. What's been pre-marked as states quadruple I.
Chandler is still missing in action.
Previous is shown. Witness.
Right.
Mr. Glass, do you recognize these two pages that I'm showing to you?
Yes, sir.
And is this a Facebook, these statements reflect a Facebook conversation?
Closed captioning works on Chrome, but it doesn't work on Edge for some reason. It's weird.
That you had on Facebook.
It is.
Right, Your Honor, at this time, the state would move to introduce what's been pre-marked stage quadruple I is the next number to exhibit.
No
Quadruple eyes. Is
Sorry?
that like
No
4
objection.
eyes?
It will be admitted.
States quadruple I will be marked states 83.
Motion to publish?
You may.
Mr. Glass, can you see that document in front of you?
Yes.
All right. Where it says author, can you read that for the
Author.
members of the
Use
jury?
that term
You want
loosely.
me to read?
If you can read that, what does it say next to author?
Fargo.
What does it say before Fargo?
Okay, Fargo.
Okay, do you see where it says Fetty Fargo?
Let's see.
Okay, and who's Fetty Fargo?
It was me.
Okay, so was
That
that
would
your
be
kind
so
of?
awesome.
was
I
that
would love a ceramic face
How
hugger.
you
Pipe.
identified yourself on Facebook?
Kind of sort of.
And who were you having this conversation with?
Right now, I look like I'm talking to myself. I
Okay.
look like I'm texting myself. I don't know who I sent it to.
Do you see where it says participants?
Okay. So, Jason Mellie.
Okay. And that was page 1. I'm gonna now publish page 2.
Man, tell them fuck that if they think I did. Oh.
I'll publish it in part, since it's a little small.
You got to talk up, bros. All this shit falling on me. Fetty getting upset.
Can you see that in
You
front of you?
start sharing video. You and Fetty can now. We're talking about
Scroll
Fetty
up.
Wap, or are we talking about? See, I know Fetty Wap, so you know, hey, talking about, or is this is it just a Fetty, just a different? Man, tell them fuck that if they think I did some shit like that. We can go to war, N-word. You know, I would never do none like that. Articulate filler, ain't he? No, Chrome has a buffering problem.
What
I
was the
only use
purpose of
Edge
you
for
having
StreamYard. That's the only thing I ever use it for.
With Mellie, Jamel Denton.
I don't know. Just everything is questioned.
When you got to Gifford, were you looking for answers?
Not just me.
Okay. Were people kind of pressing you for answers?
Correct.
And did that have any impact in whether or not you reached out to Mellie?
I don't know what you mean by that.
So, and again, you said that people are looking for answers. So did you reach out to Mellie looking for answers?
I did.
Is that the gist of that conversation on Facebook?
Is that just a
Meaning the
conversation?
gist of the conversation, was that the purpose behind the conversation and the general conversation that you had with him?
Yes.
Ryan, I want to confer. Do you know who Jamie King is?
I don't know who she is. I know of.
Okay, you know of Jamie King. Do you know how she's related to Jamel Demons?
Objection leading.
Sustained.
Do you know her relationship?
Mom. Supposed to be his mom.
Okay. Do you know if Jamie King and Anthony Williams had any?
Objection leading. I wouldn't know none of that.
Rephrase your question.
Do you know the relationship between Jamie King and
Not bad.
Anthony Williams?
Not bad, actually.
I don't.
If I were to show you a copy of your statement, would that refresh your recollection?
It might. Nope. Oh,
And
now even seeing his own statement won't refresh his memory. He's done.
nothing further at this time.
Oh, he Jedi mind tricked the prosecution. Would looking at the testimony refresh you? Nope. Nothing further, Your Honor. All right. commence the cross-examination beatdown. Yep. Missouri Meerschaum, and the once you get the actual Meerschaum pipes are amazing. But Missouri Meerschaum corncob pipe, best place to start for smoking pipes. Now Meerschaum pipes are a different thing altogether. They're awesome.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Wow. That's a big thing. He got the jury to say hi to him. The prosecution didn't.
His face.
I don't mind. I mean, I mind.
Would you mind, Your Honor?
I don't mind. Is there a specific issue that you have, Mr.
I do.
Judge,
So,
can we approach Sidebar?
sure. Ladies and gentlemen, why don't you step out for a second? Don't discuss the case, don't form any.
Whoop, we gotta talk about something. We've got to talk about something while they're gone. Chaos coordinator. Witness Dell isn't responding. Witness Dell may respond again if you wait. Troubleshooting recommended. You may consider Russian option by slapping it. Have you tried turning it off and on again? Have you disconnected the power cables to Witness Dell? Have you checked the fuse box?
And assistant state attorneys. So, Mr. Glass, I don't understand. What's the issue?
On this side of my face and show whatever it seemed. Because I'm blind in my left eye, I'm trying not to.
So you don't see out of your left side,
Correct.
left eye?
Correct.
What?
So my thought is, let's try this. Can we, Gary, can you do me a favor? Just move the monitor for a second. Let's move it out of the way. Can you do that?
So he can't see out of one eye? Perhaps if he moved his hair, that might help.
I could do that too. But if I, as far as this goes.
No, I'm not asking you to detach anything. How much can you put it down?
This is weird.
Just here.
All right. So, Mr. Glass, is that all right?
Just your courthouse.
Okay. So we can proceed like that. I think that works for everybody.
There are no subtitles for some reason on Chrome. I mean, the subtitles are only on Chrome. I'm using Edge right now, and there are no subtitles.
All right.
I wish I could. See, subtitles / closed captions unavailable on Edge. They are available on Chrome and Firefox, apparently, just for some reason, not Edge right now. All right. Let's bring him back in. Bring the joy. Well, as Tom Waits sang, I'm blind and he's blind in one eye and can't see out of the other. A great song. The piano has been drinking, not me. All right. Well, let's see. La 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 la. Waiting for the jury to come back in or something to happen. Nothing happening over here. All right. Keeps covering his eye with his hair. Yeah.
Do you recall who took you from the hospital?
That's why I'm kind of thinking he might have trouble seeing out of that eye because it's covered with hair. Ugh. Was Mellie staring him down? Could have been, but I don't know. Mellie doesn't seem to be that intimidating. He wants to hide because he knows how many people. Well, he's actually trying not to hide. That's the weird thing. He wants the monitor moved, apparently, so he can see out of his good eye. Jeff, quit waking the dog with your caterwauling. Oh, caterwaul. That's a good word, by the way. We need to start using caterwauling more. Caterwauling really is a good word. I'm having eye surgery on Wednesday, and I don't sit and talk with a monitor in front of my face. Well, clearly you have a different eye problem than our witness does. Lighting a pipe with a Zippo, you get a nice hit of butane. Nah. Undetectable. And it's a Zippo pipe lighter. So it's specifically for lighting pipes. So it has a hole in it. So you hold it vertically and then you just breathe it down in. Like that. It's quite a nice little Zippo. The pipe insert. Yeah, Zippos are easier. You're not supposed to do anything. You do what you want. Anal retentive, hypersensitive uber geeks will insist on wooden matches, but hey, wooden matches, torch, Zippo, whatever, whatever's handy is what you use to light your pipe with. We've been caught up with live all day, with the exception of about 8 minutes where nothing happened, so we skipped it. Nope, we're not muted. This is we are muted, but this is what we've just watched. We're waiting for the jury to come in, so Law and Crime is showing what they just showed us. Nah, you can't tell a difference after the first 2 or 3 puffs. Well, I would say the best way is a long stem match, but I'm all out of those. It's what I normally use, but I just haven't been asked to. Can be arsed to buy one. All right. Well, I guess we'll in small in this here while we. Well, that's not going to work because of the overlay. But what do you want to do? Don't cut cage the dog. Well, let's take off the overlay. They should be breaking for lunch pretty soon, actually. Let's go back and see what the judge said, just in case we missed some sort of lunch announcement while I was talking. Tend to talk over people when nothing's happening. So let's come on, hurry up there, Buffer.
Glass. All right, we ready to proceed? Yes. All right, bring the jury back in, see if they're ready.
No, they're supposed to bring the jury back in. What the hell's what's the hold up here? Doesn't take 7 minutes to bring the jury back in. I guess it does in some parts. All right. Well, anyway. All right, we'll bring me and the doggo up here while we wait for the jury to come back in for 10 minutes. Is weed legal in Florida? I don't know. Is it? Anybody in Florida know the answer to that question? Because I certainly don't. Yeah, the jury probably went to the bathroom, and now there's a big long line, and they all can't get back in time, and.
So the record
here we go.
It appears that Mr. Glass was reading something from his phone and as Your Honor walked in, talking to someone on the phone. So I would ask the court to inquire as to what he's reading and who he's speaking to.
The witness was reading something on his phone and talking to someone on his phone during the break. Great.
The only individual he's not allowed to speak with would be myself and Ms. Smith. So I think that should be the extent of the inquiry.
Thank you. Mr. Glass? All right, you're looking at me now. All right, thank you. I wasn't here. I left the office, left the bench, were in recess, came back in, and counsel suggested to me that you're on the phone and you read something and you're discussing something on the phone. Is that true?
Sure.
Yes, so did it have anything to do with this case?
Not at all.
So was it some other business or?
Supposed to be texting. So,
You were texting? Were you texting about the case?
not about it.
What were you texting?
Texting saying that it's wild, shit wild. That's all I said.
I didn't hear you.
I said things are wild. That's all I said.
Things are wild.
It's wild.
Anything else?
That's it.
And did you have a conversation with someone?
My brother called me and was concerned. That's all.
Concerned?
Concerned?
Concerned about what? Did you say?
Concerned about who I'm here with and how I got here.
Okay. And anything about the case, facts of the case, your testimony, anything like that? Thank you. All right, so are you ready?
Can you
to
believe
proceed?
him, Judge?
Yes, sir.
Stay ready to proceed?
Yes, sir.
All right, can we proceed? The jury's ready?
Yes, sir.
And the judge believes him. Dude, wake up. Wake up. Yo, G, you are on legal vices. Who is it?
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Please be seated. Let the record once again reflect the presence of the defendant, the defendant's counsel, and assistant attorneys.
Are we boring you, Mr. Witness? Are we boring you?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, he does have a wonky left eye, so yeah.
Morning, sir.
That's what he's recovering. So he can't see out of his left eye.
I wanted to show you what the state admitted as States 83. You just took a peek at this and identified the participants as being you. You thought it looked like you were talking to yourself because you were the only one typing. There were no responses, at least on the first page, correct?
Objection to counsel testimony.
Sustained.
There are no responses to this,
Right.
to your text on this first page.
No.
On the second page, the state was discussing that essentially you were inquiring of Mr.
Call me
Dennis
bra.
Melly
Okay, you're a bra.
What had gone on because you were trying to get information, right? Yeah. And you see a conversation here where you get a response. I'm going to direct your attention to that statement. It says, I show them niggas more love than their parents, right?
Right.
You see that?
I see it, bro.
Okay.
You see it, bro?
And the next statement by the next message in sequence is again from Mellie and it says TF. What does that mean?
The fuck?
Tell me.
Oh, he's asking you. Don't say tell me.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Okay. So you were having a conversation and you didn't understand the response.
I don't know what TF means.
Okay. You didn't understand that response. Correct?
Just said it.
Okay.
He's reading them backwards.
And then there's another one that says, man, tell them fuck that. If they think
he's reading
some
these
shit
backwards,
like that, we can go to war. Nigga, you know I would never do nothing like that. See that?
Then he says TF. Then he says I showed them more love than their parents. Well, call me, brah, ASAP. You read those backwards. The timestamps were newest on top, oldest on bottom. Oops.
So State mentioned that you got arrested recently and charged criminally. Correct?
Correct.
And on May 30th, not too long ago, of this year.
Yeah.
And one of the charges that was made against you was obstruction of the service of the execution of a search warrant. You're aware of that?
I am not.
Pardon me?
I am not.
Okay. So you got charged and you had no idea what you're charged with?
Correct.
Okay. And you are now out of pretrial release?
I bonded out, sir.
Okay. And while you were on bond, you are of the opinion that if you don't come here,
I'll be in jail.
Objection, Your Honor, apology.
That's the only reason I am.
Excuse me. What happens is when they make an objection, just wait before you answer. Objection, no, it's overruled. Proceed.
That's
you're of the impression that if you don't come here and sit in that chair and testify, you're going to go to jail.
Correct.
Oh.
Ooh. They threatened him with jail if he didn't testify?
There are several instances in which Ms. Smith, prosecutor, that questioned you, showed you a statement that you previously gave. Remember that?
Yes.
And you told us, you remember seeing me in a deposition not too long ago.
I said what?
You remember seeing me last week on Friday?
Yeah, I remember.
Okay. And you recall the time that your statement to the detectives was a few days after the incident.
You say, do I recall?
That's what your recollection was at the time.
Yes.
A couple of days after.
A couple of days after.
And now after seeing the statement, you realize that it was 4 months later, right?
You say what?
The statement you gave to police.
What you talking about, Willis? You're telling me it was 4 months?
It was 4 months. Pardon me?
You're telling me or asking me?
I'm asking.
That don't make sense. For you to ask me if I told you it was 3 to 4 days after they died, why are you asking me if it was 4 months? If I just told you.
Okay. So,
dude, he's on your side. Wink, wink.
In the statement that you gave to police back then, you claimed that you had gotten into the red vehicle in the rear seat, right?
5 years ago. To the best of my knowledge, yeah, that's what I said.
You're saying the statement was a few days after, right?
What did you tell?
The statement that you gave to the police was a few days after the incident?
Yes.
And you said then that you had gotten into the rear of the red vehicle?
To the best of my knowledge, yes.
Okay. And then you watched this trial unfold on TV over the last couple of weeks, right?
Now this is another dude.
You didn't watch any of this trial?
I watched it, but I didn't watch it unfold or whatever you're trying to say.
Okay.
Tug, what's up, Tug?
On TV.
Yeah, apparently.
This trial.
That's what he's saying. He was under that impression that if he didn't testify, he would be taken off to jail.
Red vehicle, right?
Correct.
And
Tug getting some love in the chat. Always great when
learned
Tug
that
stops.
the statement that you gave a few days after the incident was wrong.
Because I said I was in the back and I was in the front.
Yes, exactly that.
That piece.
Yes, that piece.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Okay, so your recollection had begun to fail you only a few days after the incident,
Objection.
as regards that issue, at least.
Objection to counsel specifying perjury.
You forgot where you sat in the vehicle a few days after.
Objection to counsel testifying.
Overruled. Question mark.
You can answer.
Answer what?
That
Question, dumbass.
Is that correct, sir?
Did I forget?
Did you forget?
Or did I have made a mistake and say I was in the back and remember that I was in the front?
Ooh. Well, you tell us. Did you forget or did you lie? Which one was it?
So when you told the law enforcement officers that you had gotten into the back of the vehicle a few
Was
days
that
after
a lie or misremembering?
That's what I thought, to the best of my knowledge.
That's what you thought. Okay. And when
We do
you
love Tug Alice Elliott.
got to
It's a good man.
Mellie's house that morning, you had a key?
Did you have a key?
No, I didn't. Did you?
No, I didn't.
Who had a key?
I don't know.
You know of anybody having a key to Mellie's house?
I don't know.
Okay.
How the fuck did you get in Mellie's house?
Gain entrance to that morning when you were leaving after you left the studio.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you said you just went and crashed and went to sleep in Judy's room. Right?
Factual.
Okay. And you were awakened by your friend Drew.
I did not say that.
Were you awakened by your friend Drew?
I said I was awakened by phone calls.
Okay.
From who? Because nobody's objecting. Nobody objects. It's game on. Somebody give this witness a little bump. He needs to pick me up. You'd think he'd be upset at the prosecution. You'd think he'd want to say, F the man, F the state, and cooperate with the defense. But he seems to hate the defense more than he hates the prosecution.
On February 26th of 2019, when you actually gave your statement to law enforcement, do you recall this question and this answer?
Objection to improper impeachment.
Sustained.
On that day, you told the police.
He hates both,
that
but he
Drew
seems to
woke
hate the
you up.
defense more.
Objection to improper impeachment.
Sustained.
I don't recall.
Excuse me, sustain the objection.
Okay.
Or they promised him something in exchange for his testimony.
You want to make a reproach?
Sure.
I'm surprised we haven't had has the prosecution promised you anything in exchange for your testimony yet? Whew. Wow, this is a big old nothing burger going on here. I'm not sure what the prosecution hoped to get out of this, but I don't think they got it. And of course, the defense doesn't seem to be getting much out of this either. I expected him to crush him, but he's just playing rope-a-dope. He's playing dumb.
Did you ever make a statement differently where you claimed that you were awakened by Drew?
Objection, counsel testifying to proper impeachment.
Overruled. Do you understand the question, sir?
I don't even remember getting asked a question.
All right, restate your question.
Did you ever make a statement to the police?
I don't recall.
Okay. Do you recall now being asked this question and giving this answer?
Objection to improper impeachment.
Overruled.
Question by the detective then. And so when you first saw Drew, when did you see him? Where did you see him at? Your house or Fredo's house? Answer, at the house in Miramar. At Mellie's house. Okay. He woke me up. It was like, come to the hospital. You said that.
I don't recall.
Don't recall, okay. When we spoke to you last week, you said you were awakened by phone calls from Christopher Thomas's mom, right?
Plenty of phone calls.
And, pardon me?
Different people.
Different people. And the one that you answered was Ricky? So you were awakened by a phone call from Ricky?
To the best of my knowledge.
So as you
Ricky
recall
Anderson?
today, Ricky is the one that woke you up with phone
Ricky
calls.
Anderson needs to go to the
Not
trial.
Drew that woke you up in person.
Correct.
Okay. So you smoke a lot of marijuana, right?
Possibly.
Possibly.
Oh, I called
Anytime
it.
you get a chance.
I
think
called
is
it.
How you phrase it.
It's your answer. Yeah.
That was your answer.
Smoke when I smoke.
You smoke when you smoke?
Yeah.
And when's that?
When I smoke.
And when was that?
When I smoke.
How many times a day?
Objection to ask and answer.
Overruled.
Twice, 3 times, maybe.
Okay. And on the night before you got to the studio, on the day in question, you had smoked at least 2 joints, right?
I sure guess.
That's what you said, right?
I don't recall.
Okay. And when you got to the studio, you were smoking, correct?
Possibly.
Were you or weren't you?
It was 5 years ago.
You forget?
I don't recall.
Okay. And you were drinking Hennessy, I believe? Or do you not?
Of course
recall
he
that?
was. Duh.
Possible. But you don't recall?
I don't.
What else would you be
So you don't
drinking,
recall
dude?
much
You
from
were
that
drinking
night.
Hennessy. Or Courvoisier. That might have been your other choice.
Right? Fair?
Right.
Of course you were drinking Hennessy, dumbass.
And when you got in the red vehicle and left, you went to sleep in the vehicle when you left the studio. Right?
Yeah.
And you didn't wake up until you got to the garden.
I woke up when we came to a stop.
You did not wake up until you got to the garden. Am I right or wrong?
I woke up when we came to a stop.
Okay,
Which was at the guard gate, yes.
It was going until we came to a stop.
One moment.
Yeah, it's interesting they haven't showed Mellie's face while during
With
this guy's
respect to
testimony.
your-
That's interesting.
Daily. Right. You never seen Mellie with a gun.
Objection, Your Honor.
Staying.
Move to strike.
Truth is your last question.
Have you ever seen Mellie with a gun?
Objection, Your
I
Honor.
sustain the objection.
Have you ever seen a track with a gun?
Possibly.
Hmm.
Yes. Maybe. Maybe so.
Possibly, yes, maybe. Well, anything else?
You don't know of any friction between Mellie and Anthony Davis at any time, Anthony Williams at any time.
I know it.
And you don't know of any friction between Mellie and Christopher Thomas at any time.
I know
Mellie apparently has several
And
issues.
you don't know of any friction that occurred at the studio that night that would
have already been
cause anybody
diagnosed.
to get murdered.
Finally,
You didn't see any
speculation.
friction at the studio that night of any magnitude.
I did.
You did.
I didn't.
Okay, you did. With respect to your daily marijuana regimen, did you smoke before you came here today?
I did not.
Liar. Liar.
Counsel, is there any regret?
Okay, that sounded actually pretty honest. No, I should have.
Did you live in Broward County back in October 2018?
I did not live here.
Okay. When did you come in relation to this incident to Broward County?
I was picked up probably, I don't know, I was picked up on the weekend or something like that.
So how would you, I guess, date how long you were here prior to the incident? Time frame.
3 days, 2 days.
Okay. So you were not a full-time resident of Mellie's residence?
Was not.
Okay. Nothing further.
Is this witness excused?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You may step down. You are excused. Let's go on the box. So, ladies and gentlemen, why don't we take our lunch and recess now? It looks like it's after 12.
That was
The addition, do not discuss the case. Don't form any
that was
opinion about
not
the
as
case.
brutal as I thought it would be.
Specification of prejudice. And certainly, no research. We'll see everybody back at, say 1:30. All right. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Keep on that one. Cheers.
All right, ladies and germs, that is the end of the morning session. So you know what that means. That's the end of our show for the day. Because for those of you that are just joining us, we currently have 856 people here and 701 likes. So thank you for getting us over the 600 likes. But for those of you that are just joining us for the first time, this is what we do. We watched the morning session. Assuming we're all caught up, we watch the morning session. Then we shut the stream down. And then tomorrow we pick up with the afternoon session. We watch it at 1.25 speed, 1.5 if possible. We skip all the sidebars, all the breaks, etc., until we catch up, until we finish the afternoon session. Then we go to the current day's morning session, and then we fast forward to that until we catch up live. And then we finish out the morning session, and then we do it again the next day. So tomorrow when you come back, we will be showing the morning session. We'll show the afternoon session of today and the morning session of tomorrow. And that's what we'll keep on doing tomorrow and Wednesday. Then Thursday, we'll do an hour of O.J. Simpson trial, flashback to O.J. Simpson. Then we'll pick up this trial and repeat. And this Friday will be what I love to call Fuck It Friday, where we just say, fuck it. And we have a huge panel of guests on. I grift for money for Super Chat, so we don't have to grift the rest of the month. We just, take it. Everything else is bonus. Everything else is just a little icing on the cake. But the fucking Fridays, that's just essentially a griftathon where you pay me to drink. We have guests on. We talk about things. We have a good old time. And that's what we're going to be doing this Friday. It'll be Friday night U.S. time. We did Friday morning for the birthday stream last week, and we'll do Friday night this time. So we can get those of you that couldn't make it last time in the morning. So that's what we're going to be doing for the rest of this week. That's kind of it. Please hit that like button. Please hit the subscribe button, and let's catch up on the remaining super chats. Katara gave a thanks for being you super sticker. That is a very generous super sticker. Thank you so much, Katara. That is very, very deeply appreciated. And Duncan, Idaho. Hey, Jeff, thanks for doing this. It's a great way to spend the beginning of my Monday while working. Could I trouble you to give that dog's head a good solid pat? Out of arm's reach. He's about 5 feet away. And Strawberry is just here, crashed on the floor. out on the veranda. But we'll give the doggies little pats here in a bit. I have to do the evening bulldog health care system, which is taking a wet wipe and cleaning out all the wrinkles, cleaning out underneath the tails, got to trim the nails. Do all this, put in for Strawberry. She's got the skin deal, so I have to put medication on her little skin troubles. Got to do all that. Then we'll go to sleep. We'll give them treats and pats. Don't worry. Doggies will get treats and pats tonight. Bobby Baloney, did you shout out Valhalla's birthday today? I did yesterday, my time, on yesterday's stream when it was on our members only stream, right after it turned into his birthday. But we'll do it again. He's got we're 11 minutes late. It was Valhalla's birthday on the 10th. We are now 11 minutes into the 11th. It's still Valhalla's birthday in Central, Mountain, and Pacific times in the States. So we'll give him the first shout out and we'll give him the last shout out of his birthday. So happy birthday at the end of your birthday, Valhalla. Wait. And I think that's about it. We can kick it here for a few minutes. If any of you have any questions, we'll finish out the next few minutes here. It's only noon there. Yeah, I guess so. But it's noon on the 11th. I guess it's a long time ago. Never mind. His birthday's like way over. His birthday's on the 10th. So yeah, it's way over. I hate time zones. Happy birthday yesterday, Valhalla. I mean, my birthday was 5 days ago, and I still keep getting happy birthday notices from people. So, I've got 12 hours. Didn't you shorten my birthday time? All right. It's what? Okay. All right. It's the 11th here now. So that means it's the 12th. If it's the 10th, it's all right. Yeah, you got 12 hours left. So, all right. Happy birthday. I hate time zones and date lines because right now it is 1:12 a.m. on the morning of 7/11. It's the 11th here in Korea. All right. So there we go. Yeah, it's still happy birthday for another 11 hours and 45 minutes for him. Oh, what's up, Yoda? Hey, what's up, Yoda? How you doing? What's up, dog? You look dazed and confused like normal. That's Yoda. Yoda's not the smartest bulldog that ever rolled off the assembly line. Lawyers can't do math. Exactly. Oh, except for MG Law, who's special and can still do math, apparently. Alrighty. 7-Eleven is Slurpee Day. Oh, then you're on my birthday. Oh, your birthday is on the 11th. Well, happy birthday. What's up? Oh, appreciate that, Betsy. Happy birthday to you. I'm Chicago time, so 11:13 my time. Yup. Any thoughts on marshmallows? Marshmallows are awesome. I mean, who doesn't just like a mouthful of sugar? And they're required for camping. You cannot go camping without marshmallows. You need to make s'mores. It's like required by camping law. International camping law says you must consume toasted marshmallows and or s'mores, preferably s'mores. And they're great in hot chocolate. Occasionally I'll drop a marshmallow in my coffee too. Just kind of give it that little yumminess. And I've also made marshmallow infused vodka. That does some interesting stuff. Just take like a giant 1 liter bottle, fill it full of marshmallows, and pour some vodka in, and it takes about 4 or 5 days for all the marshmallows to dissolve, and then you have a delicious marshmallow infused vodka. Yeah, back in the day when I was younger and had more energy and motivation, I used to make infused vodkas, like coffee infused vodkas and watermelon and marshmallows. But, marshmallows are good for a sore throat, huh? All righty then. We made s'mores yesterday after I grilled steaks. Oh, yum. Sounds like my camping trip 2 weekends ago. I still have to upload my how to cook steak like a man with your 3 things you need to cook a steak like a man. Salt, pepper, and fire. I got to upload that video. I need to edit it together and upload it. I'll try to get to that tomorrow or the next day. Legal Vices, make a video on that marshmallow vodka. I'm intrigued. Oh, God, the last time I did that was probably 10 years ago. It's just marshmallow flavored vodka at that point. Garlic and butter. That's like some of my favorite smells on earth are onions and garlic sauteing in butter, or alternatively, garlic and onions sauteing in sesame oil. Those are my favorite smells. Bacon comes a very, very close third. Propane or coal, wood. wood, a nice wood fire that burns down to the coals. That's what I do. Wood fire, burn it down to the coals, and then cook it over. Solomon Anderson, you can rim a martini glass with graham crackers and make a chocolate martini using marshmallow vodka. That sounds like calories, but it also sounds really good. Yeah, pretty much garlic and onions on everything, right? No question. Bobby Baloney, then I guess I'm breaking the law because they're so delicious. I'm not sure what was delicious, but I probably agree with you. I hope you don't. No, didn't you just hear what I said? The new guy. Clean out those ears. There's only 3 things you need to make steak: salt, pepper, and fire. That's it. Nothing else should be. That's it. Salt, pepper, fire. Those are the 3 things you need for a steak, and the only 3 things. You don't need reverse searing. You don't need cast iron pans. You don't need ovens. You don't need toaster ovens. You don't need convection ovens. You just need salt, pepper, and fire. That's it. Just saying. Okay. Well, we still have 600 people here listening to us talk about cooking steaks. 4 things you need the steak. Well, no, if you're going to cook a steak, it's de facto assumed that there is a steak there. Nah, my steaks are so juicy and tender that you can just gum that steak. Steaks in microwaves, steaks in toaster ovens, steaks in convection ovens. No. That's just blasphemous. Only a ghoul or a fiend would make a steak in a microwave or a toaster oven. But I'll have to edit together the video of my camping steak cooking. How much was that steak I cooked? The steak I cooked, meat is freaking expensive here. It was a 1.3 kilograms, so it was about 3-pound tomahawk steak, and it was about $55, $60 US. But it was so good. It was so good. It would just make you cry. Yeah, beef is ridiculously expensive here in Korea. Oh, boiled steak. Ugh. Oh, no. No. It's happening with Harper. No, tell your husband never, ever, ever, ever sous vide a steak. No. How is the quality of steak? Well, it depends. The tomahawk steak was fantastic. Beautiful marbling. They have the Hanu steak, which is like the Korean Wagyu steak. I mean, you can get some amazing steaks. Beef expensive. What about exotic meats? I will define exotic. I mean, whale is pretty expensive, but it's so good. And it's not like the endangered whale. They use a Norwegian whale that's more like a dolphin than a whale, really. But it's one that's regularly harvested. Jeff, you ever tried the Weber Grill Montreal steak seasoning? It's better than just salt and pepper, although it's mostly salt and pepper. I discovered something. I have two chef friends. They just opened a Tex-Mex restaurant here in Busan called Tejano. And they introduced me to tahine, this Tex-Mex seasoning that's basically like salt, pepper, chili peppers, and lime. That tahine season. I mean, that I've been putting that on everything for the last 2 weeks. Making like some spicy margaritas, putting it on watermelon, on mango. That tahine is fantastic. Yeah, see, Lizbot knows. I just discovered this last week, and I have literally been putting it on. I just put it on some fried chicken tonight for dinner. It makes everything taste better. If you can put the same thing on cocktails as you put on steak or chicken, it's good stuff. Yeah, I'm in love with this. Is my newfound thing. Tahine is awesome. That's my new go-to seasoning. My life is I'm serious. It tastes good on absolutely everything. I did not know this existed until last Saturday. Yeah, I just didn't know. And like I said, I've had it in on tequila shots and margaritas. I've put it on watermelon and mango and fried chicken and salad. It's literally got on everything I've eaten this past week, and it makes everything taste better. Yeah, see, I had to order mine from the States. Good on Count Chocula. It probably would be. I mean, it's pretty good. All right. Well, we've talked enough here. We'll go to the bottom of the hour. We'll go to 30 minutes after the hour, and then we'll pull the plug here. Jicama. I'm not a big jicama fan. It's kind of a bland sort of thing. Maybe I just don't know how to cook it or eat it. I don't know. Everything has tahini, or every other product is tahini. See, I did not know this existed until last Saturday. Yeah, I did. I tried it with mango because that's what the chef said. He said, "Oh, the chef that introduced, no, you got to buy this and just put it on mango." And I did, and it was just ridiculous. Plantains. All right. No. That's tahina. That's different. It's tahine. It's a Mexican. It's a Tex-Mex spice. It has like chili peppers, salt, pepper, lime, and some other things in it. It's amazing. Yeah, tahini. That's right. Not tahina. What I said, tahina, didn't I? It's tahini, and that's just basically mushed up chickpeas with sesame oil. Sriracha flakes. Sriracha goes on everything. Sriracha and Tabasco sauce go on everything as well. But I've never had the Sriracha flakes. I'll have to check those out when I get. How do we get talking about food? I don't care. There's still 532 of you that think talking about food is interesting. So hey, cool. I'm sorry. You're right. It's sesame seeds. It's sesame seeds. I said chickpeas, didn't I? Damn it. That's the other part of hummus. It's the sesame seed tahini and then the chickpeas. Sorry, I was just like going through the hummus recipe in my head. Hummus is one of those things that I can make and it's good, but it takes 3 damn days, and it's just easier to buy packaged hummus. It's a cost benefit analysis. I can buy a giant pot of it for $10, or I can spend 3 days making it from scratch. Yeah. How do you make it without tahini? It's just, that seems like it'd be really, really dry. Yeah, see, it just seems like it'd be really, really, 3 days to make hummus, because you have to take the chickpeas and soak them for 24 hours. Then you have to boil them. Then you have to let some of the water out. And while you're doing that, you have to make the tahini, and then you have to let it sit for a bit. So yeah, it takes about 3 days to make a good hummus from scratch. If you use the dry chickpeas, if you use the canned chickpeas, it doesn't take long at all. But I use the dry chickpeas when I do it, and you have to rehydrate them and boil them and. Large jars of kimchi is another thing that's like definitely worthwhile to let some grandma make down the street. That's why you gotta have a lot of Korean friends, so they can give you their mom's kimchi. You can get canned chickpeas in Korea, but yeah, I don't know. I like to rehydrate the chickpeas. There are some halal places and other places that sell Middle Eastern food, but I just go to Costco and buy it. So probably the nearest place I could get homemade, handmade hummus is probably an hour away. Geographically, it's not that far. It's just through traffic. My son is moving to Korea in August. He'll be living in Asan. Is he in the military? Because Cheonan Asan is a big military area. Asan's a good place. Kim, seen that fish jerky? Oh, the fish skin. It's like processed, smashed up fish skin. That's one of my vices. Chipo, it's called. No, Osan is the air base. The army base is near Chananasan, and Osan is the air base. I think it's a Camp Humphreys. It's in Chananasan. Anyway. Yeah, Osan is the primary air base. That is correct. Shark. I don't eat shark fin just out of ethical principles. I've never had it, and I never will. Speaking of roasted marshmallows, been there, done that. Has gone back. I think that may actually be what been there, done that is using for his profile picture. That is either the first or the second or third Instagram picture I ever posted 1 billion years ago. That's got to be at least 10 years old. That is me actually making roasted marshmallows on a gas stove in my house for my son. That is an old ass picture. That would have been God dang. 18. That's got to be 15 years old, that picture you've got there. Been there, done that. That's going to be at least a 15-year-old picture. That's actually funny. All right, where are we at here? Got about 2 more minutes, then we'll shut this down. Oh, he'll be teaching English at one of the high schools. Okay. He'll have fun. I mean, Asan is really close to, it's just outside of Seoul. So you just take a couple of train stations away from Seoul. So it's sort of a suburb-ish of Seoul. He'll have a good time there. I was mentioning I didn't eat shark fin just out of principle because they just lop off the fins and let the sharks roam out and they die. It's like a horrible thing. But I have had shark meat. To me, it just sort of tasted like shoe leather. So I've only had shark once. I didn't have shark fin. It was just like shark steak, and it just tasted like shoe leather to me. Well, I'd shaved my head long before that, and I started shaving my head like 20 years ago, but I grew it back twice just for a bit, and then I realized I hated having hair, so I shaved it again. This is a lifestyle. See, you can see it's starting to grow. I haven't shaved it in like a week, so I look like a damn hippie. My hair's getting too long. This is a choice. This is a lifestyle choice. It's not a thing. I still have hair. Less than I used to, but I still have it. I thought you didn't eat shark for the same reason sharks don't eat lawyers. Blah, ha, ha, ha. Smoked shark mako at least is good. And maybe I just had it poorly cooked, but for me, it just tasted like shoe leather. Lizbot's going back to work. See you, Chad. Thanks, Jeff. Thank you for being here, Lizbots. Tastes like chicken. Just eat the chicken. Pretty much. All right, folks. We are now at 1:30 a.m. Korea time. So it's time for me to pull the plug. Thank you for the how many people? How did we get like another 150 people here since we started talking about chickpeas and tahine and eating shark? Wow. All right, everybody. Huh. That was interesting. The 150 of you that joined since we started, I hate to disappoint you all, but we're going to pull the plug now. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to try to start as an hour early so we can have a little bit more catch-up time. So I'm going to try to start at 8 a.m. Eastern time, which would be 1 p.m. UK time, 9 p.m. Korea, Japan, and 10 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, or otherwise known as Canberra time. Canberra time. So we'll see you then. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, mods, for being here. You guys are awesome. There's a bunch of mods in chat here now tonight. You guys are super, super special. And the chat, Vice Squad chat, you are the chat you're the best chat. Vice Squad chat is the best chat, hands down. Bev D was sent from Uncivil. Absolutely great thing. And speaking of which, I need to see who we're going to hand off to here. We need to see who is available so we can redirect you to. We shall do this. Let's redirect. Go to content. Let's go to live. Then I need to go to customization for today's stream. Go to customization. Redirect. Who is available for a redirect currently? Nicholas Starov, the missing sister murder trial. We're going to redirect to Nicholas. So tell Nicholas it is a Legal Vice Squad raid. Legal Vices is on the way, and everybody here in chat right now, literally every one of you, do not go away. If your notifications and whatnot are turned on, you should be redirected to Nicholas Starov. Let's give him all 5 million current viewers currently here. I mean, let me see how many viewers we actually have. We have 451 of you here. Let's give Nicholas all 451 of you people and watch his trial stream. Nicholas, subscribe to him, love everything he's done, and tell him hi from Legal Vices. Tell him Legal Vices just stopped by to say hi. Righty, we'll see you tomorrow. Everybody take care. Thank you so much for your generosity. Thank you so much for being here with me. Love you all. We'll see you tomorrow for day 12 afternoon and day 13 morning of the YNW Melly murder trial. I haven't said this in a long time. I need to start saying it again. Oh, dog stretch. Haven't said this in a long time. I need to say it more. Whatever you do, always enjoy your legal vices.